3 years ago, I fell for a sweet, gentle girl at school. Then we had a fight, and I never went to make things right. During that Cold War between us, I saw her laughing and talking with other guys. I didn't bother asking her about it. The next day, I was assigned to a classified research project, my identity completely hidden. 3 years later, I returned after successfully completing my national research mission. I desperately wanted to ask her, did we ever actually break up? So, when I found out Serena Harper was a sophomore at Columbia University, even though I could have easily become a professor at MIT, I chose to join Columbia instead, becoming a freshman at Columbia University. The freshman welcome area at Columbia University. Serena Harper sat quietly in her chair, just sitting there in silence. Yet she'd already captured the admiring gazes of countless passing freshmen. Her best friend Mia Chen, beside her, smiled at Serena. Serena, you truly deserve your title as the most beautiful girl at Columbia. Look at those freshmen over there. The moment they see you, their eyes are glued to you. They're definitely going to be asking around campus about you. Serena's expression remained calm. Let them. I'm not interested in dating anyway. Compared to going out with any of these guys, being with you all my best friends, spending time catching the evening breeze by Hudson Lake, grabbing street food outside the North Gate, having late-night snacks together, isn't that way more romantic than any relationship? But after she finished speaking, the light in Serena's eyes suddenly dimmed. These words. She'd said them all to that boy, years ago. What a shame. That now, among the crowds passing through campus, even though some had eyes like his, noses like his, even voices that sounded like his, none of them were actually him. Mia noticed the sadness in Serena's eyes, and immediately grew worried. Serena, you're not still pining for that boyfriend you lost 3 years ago, are you? Even if you were mourning him for 3 years, those 3 years are over now. Serena understood her roommate's concern, and smiled easily. It's not really that I can't let go. It's just that right now, I still can't bring myself to like anyone else. Then she grabbed Mia's hand and urged, All right, stop standing around daydreaming. The freshmen should be arriving any minute now. Aren't you going to the gate to welcome them? Who knows, maybe this year. There'll be some cute guys who catch your eye. Mia's eyes lit up immediately. Good point. Then she quickly left the welcome area, heading to the campus gate to greet the new students. Serena let out a soft sigh. First love. How could anyone forget it so easily? Back then, with just one gentle turn of his back, he'd taken Serena's entire youth with him. Her slightly reddened eyes blinked rapidly, and she felt herself transported back to those days of passing secret notes in literature class, hand-copying song lyrics during study hall, dozing off in math class, those 10-minute breaks, where she could still dream beautiful dreams. Before long, a gentle breeze swept through, tousling the long strands of hair by the girl's temples. Serena lifted her head, her face carrying an indescribable trace of regret. If only you were still here right now. How wonderful that would be. The gates of Columbia University. I stood with my suitcase in hand, looking up at the golden letters before me. My heart, which had been calm as still water, suddenly rippled with waves. I'd left without saying goodbye back then. She must have been heartbroken. I took a deep breath and slowly walked through the gates. The moment I stepped on the campus, I immediately drew the attention of quite a few girls around me. Oh my God, look at that. That freshman is gorgeous. Is this what they mean by effortlessly handsome? I ignored the chatter around me, and had only taken a few steps, when Mia, wearing a volunteer armband for freshman orientation, quickly approached me. Hey there, freshman. I'm a volunteer helping with registration. Let me show you where to sign in. I didn't refuse. I wasn't familiar with the campus anyway. Thanks, I appreciate it. After walking a few steps, I turned and asked, Hey, do you happen to know an upperclassman named Serena Harper? Of course I do. Mia nodded immediately, her eyes teasing. Wow, you've got good intel for a freshman. You just got here, and you already know about the prettiest girl on campus. So you're interested in our campus beauty, Serena? I smiled. Serena and I went to the same high school. She's actually the reason I chose to come to Columbia. Mia looked a bit surprised, and quickly gave me a knowing look. Followed her here out of admiration, huh? Kids these days are something else, but since you went to the same high school, you've probably heard about what happened to Serena, right? I paused, confused. Serena in high school had always been a model student. Besides being known as the school beauty and top of her class, I really didn't know what else there was to know about her. That she always came in second in our grade, maybe, because first place was always me. Just then, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I gave Mia an apologetic look. Sorry. I need to take this. Seeing Mia wave it off, I answered the phone. Professor Lucas, this is Callahan Reed. On the other end, a middle-aged man's cheerful voice rang out. Callahan, I'm so sorry. According to the original plan, I was supposed to meet you at the gate. But something suddenly came up with the project here, and I couldn't get away. I really apologize. I shook my head with a smile. The project is more important. I'm fine. I'm about to complete my registration now. Professor Lucas continued. But I still don't understand. With your level of research expertise, you could easily replace any doctoral candidate. Why did you suddenly want to do undergrad? I gave him the same answer as always. Whenever you've figured things out, he said, I'll immediately report to the higher-ups. To make you an honorary professor at Columbia, I guarantee you, the offer we're putting on the table will be better than any other university. I replied with a smile. Let's talk about that later. Professor, let me rest for a while first. Professor Lucas nodded repeatedly. All right. Go ahead and register then, even though I'm not on campus right now. If you have any problems with daily life, just call me directly. I smiled and nodded. Will do. When you get back, I'll definitely come visit. Then I hung up. Before long, Mia led me to the freshman registration area. She looked around and noticed that Serena, who had been sitting in the welcome area, had suddenly disappeared. Mia looked a bit disappointed, turning to me. Sorry about that. Freshman Serena must have had something come up. You won't be able to see her for now. I smiled lightly and nodded. That's okay. There's plenty of time ahead. I'll have my chance. Mia immediately brightened when she heard this. Tomorrow's the freshman orientation meeting. You'll definitely see her then. Go ahead and register first. I nodded, and walked to the department's registration table. After verifying my information against the admission letter, finding my name on the freshman list, and signing in, I received my dorm key and student ID. Then I headed toward the dormitory. Not long after I left, Serena arrived at Mia's side with someone in tow. Mia immediately rushed over to Serena. Serena! Your timing couldn't have been worse. Let me tell you, this year our school has an incredibly handsome freshman, and he said he went to the same high school as you. I'm telling you, he definitely came here because of you. Stop. I have no interest in dating right now, Mia spoke up. I'm not saying you have to date him, but since he's a fellow freshman from your hometown, you should at least show some concern. You'll meet him at tomorrow's orientation. Then Mia asked, That freshman's name is Callahan Reed, I think? Does that ring any bells? The moment Mia said those words, Serena's heart seemed to skip half a beat. Even her voice began to tremble. What did you say his name was? Mia asked, surprised. His name is Callahan Reed. Is something wrong? Serena shook her head, disappointment washing over her. No, it's nothing. Which way did he go? Mia pointed in the direction I'd left. When Serena's gaze followed, I had just turned into a small alleyway. But in that split second, Serena thought she saw the silhouette of that boy from years ago. But then she quickly shook her head. It can't be. It's probably just someone with the same name. Just the same name. Similar build. Finally, Serena's body trembled, and she pulled back the feet that had been eager to chase after him. On the other side, I arrived at the dormitory building. Following the room number on the key, I pushed open the door to the room where I'd spend my college years. Before long, my other roommates arrived too. The four of us, ranked ourselves by birth month. Tyler Yang was the eldest. Marcus Dong was second. I was third, and Leo Wu was fourth. Marcus grinned. It's not easy for all of us to come together from different places. I'm from DC, so I know this area pretty well. My treat. How about we all grab dinner? Tyler waved his hand. No need for that. Let's just split the bill. But since you know the area, you pick the restaurant. I smiled and nodded too. 3 years had already passed. No need to rush one more day. On the other side, at the girls' dormitory, Mia bounced over to Serena with a bright smile. Serena, what should we eat tonight? Serena thought for a moment, then said, Let's go to the dining hall. I heard the new steamed fish. On the first floor is pretty good. Mia pouted. We just got back to campus, and you want dining hall food? We've been busy all day. Let's go walk around outside the north gate. See if there's anything good to eat, and pick up some fruit while we're at it. Serena shot her a look. I think you just want to go out and check out the new freshman. Mia giggled. You know me too well. Serena turned to look at their 2 other roommates. What about you guys? Want to come hang out? The 2 girls nodded immediately. Sure. Serena looked up at Mia and said, Seems like after the whole summer, our room hasn't hung out together in forever. Let's go then. Before long, they were all ready, and the 4 of them set out from the girls' dormitory. Almost at the same time, the 4 of us from my room also arrived at the food street outside the north gate, quickly finding a barbecue place to sit down. At the same moment, Mia grabbed Serena's wrist, scanned the area, then immediately said to Serena and the other 2, Girls, what do you think? Which place should we eat at? The other 2 girls nodded. We're fine with anything. Mia then turned her gaze to Serena beside her. Serena casually lifted her head, her eyes quickly sweeping around the area, and her whole body suddenly froze. There, in front of a barbecue restaurant, I stood next to Tyler and the others, and we stepped into the barbecue restaurant. In that moment, Serena's mind went completely blank, her beautiful eyes fixed on the restaurant I'd just entered, holding her breath, unable to recover. The resemblance, it was uncanny. Unlike the glimpse of that silhouette this morning, just now, she felt like she'd truly seen a young man who looked almost exactly like Callahan Reed. Even his clothes matched her memories perfectly. A clean white t-shirt, fitted dark jeans, and short, tousled black hair that somehow wasn't messy at all. In that instant, Serena felt like she was about to suffocate. She still didn't want to believe that Callahan was dead. Mia shook Serena's wrist. Serena, why are you spacing out? Only then did Serena snap back to reality, looking at Mia and the others. Let's get barbecue. Summer nights, barbecue and beer, the perfect combo. Mia and the others had no objections. Then Serena led them, slowly toward the barbecue place I'd just entered. With every step, her heartbeat quickened. In this world, could there really be someone who looked exactly like him? Or perhaps in that moment, the heart that had been frozen for 3 years was slowly coming back to life. Even if it was false hope, even if it was a foolish fantasy, she had to see this boy who looked just like Callahan Reed, the one from her memories. By then, the rest of us had already gone inside, finding a private room to settle into. I casually picked up the menu and flipped through a few pages, then looked at the guys. I'm gonna hit the restroom first. You guys go ahead and order. On the other side, Serena and Mia's group had also entered the restaurant, first finding a corner to sit down and calling the owner over. After getting the menu, Serena looked at the others. You guys go ahead and order. I think I just saw someone I know. I'm going to go find them. Mia's eyes lit up. Someone you know? It's not some hot guy, is it? Serena rolled her eyes. Go on. Just order first. Then she stood there, scanning the entire restaurant. When she realized everyone around her was a stranger, disappointment immediately washed over her face. Then she took a deep breath, and door by door, quickly pushed open each private room. When she still didn't find that familiar face, she'd step out disappointed, repeatedly saying, Sorry, wrong room. Finally, Serena pushed open the door to Tyler's private room. Seeing Serena walk in, Tyler and the others' eyes went wide. Serena! Serena smiled awkwardly at Tyler and the other 2. Hey guys. Then she noticed the 4 place settings on the table and asked curiously, There's one more of you? Tyler quickly spoke up. Our 3rd roommate went to the bathroom. Serena nodded, giving them an apologetic look. Sorry about that. I thought I saw someone I knew, so I came into the wrong room. Then she quickly left the private room, but the moment she turned around, she saw the back of a guy in a white t-shirt, walking past. In that instant, Serena's heart immediately started racing. Taking a deep breath, she slowly walked up behind the young man and gently tapped his shoulder. The guy quickly turned around. When he saw it was Serena, his eyes lit up. Hey, Serena, did you need something? Serena's expression immediately froze. Sorry about that. This classmate. I thought you were someone else. I'm really sorry. Serena apologized repeatedly. Finally, she trudged back to where Mia and the others were sitting. Mia quickly asked, What happened? You went for a walk and came back looking like you lost your soul. Serena forced a smile. It's nothing. Then she looked at the chilled beer bottles on the table. This is our first time going out for barbecue together this semester. Let's have a few drinks first. I'll start. She opened a beer, pouring herself a glass to the brim. Then Serena tilted her head back, gulp after gulp, draining the entire glass. On the other side, I slowly walked out of the restroom, not even glancing at the main dining area, pushing straight into the private room. On the table inside, glasses of chilled beer had already been poured. Seeing me come in, Tyler and the others immediately grinned. Cal, you were in the bathroom forever. We've been waiting for you. Come on, come on. Here's to all of us coming together from different places. Let's raise our glasses. I didn't hold back. Sitting down and immediately grabbing the glass in front of me, smiling at the three of them, cheers. A few rounds later, the food had really hit the spot, and by then Marcus's face was flushed red. He held up his glass and smiled at everyone. Serena Harper is eating at this same restaurant, you know. What do you say? Should we go out and offer her a drink? After all, she's going to be our orientation leader. During military training? I froze. Serena was here earlier? Leo immediately chimed in. You were in the bathroom. Serena probably walked into the wrong room, so she came into ours for a second. When I went out to use the restroom, I saw her and her roommates still drinking out there. Tyler nodded in agreement. Yeah. I saw it too. Gotta say, Serena really lives up to her title as Colombia's top beauty. Even when she's drinking, she's incredible. I frowned slightly. Drinking? The Serena I knew never touched a drop of alcohol. With the sound of a chair scraping, I immediately stood up. Tyler and the others looked at me. Cal, where are you going? A flash of worry crossed my eyes. Then I smiled at them. I'm stepping out for a second. You guys keep drinking. With that, I pushed open the private room door first, walking out into the main area. My eyes scanned the room, quickly finding Serena, still drinking glass after glass. At the table, Mia and the other two roommates watched Serena with concern. Serena, stop drinking. Look at yourself. You're already drunk. Ever since Serena had made her rounds through the restaurant, they'd all sensed something was off with her, like she'd lost her soul, drinking one glass after another. At first, they thought she was just in a bad mood, so they'd had a few drinks with her. They never expected her to drink this hard. Serena's eyes were already hazy. I'm fine. After I finish this last glass, I'll stop. Her hand trembled as she held the glass. Her face flushed red. Then, right before her eyes, a face suddenly appeared, the face she'd dreamed of day and night. Though it looked a bit blurry, Serena was certain it was Callahan. Stop drinking. I snatched the glass from her hand, downing it myself in one gulp. Then I looked at Serena with aching concern, asking the others, how much has she had? Mia pointed to the 7 or 8 empty bottles on the ground. Our girl Serena drank all of those by herself, and now she's completely wasted. Serena lifted her head, her slightly reddened eyes, immediately spilling 2 streams of tears. I'm not drunk. Callahan, is that you? You finally came back. Then she threw her arms around me, her whole body trembling as she sobbed. I promise you, I'll never fight with you again. Please don't just disappear on me anymore, okay? My expression grew complicated. I reached out and gently patted Serena's trembling shoulders, asking Mia, Where's your dorm? Let me help you get her back. Mia was stunned for a moment, then immediately perked up. Sure, we couldn't carry her anyway. Thanks so much, freshman. I shook my head. It's no trouble. One. Then, I wrapped my arm around Serena's slender waist, lifted her princess style, quickly scooping her from the chair into my arms, and slowly left the barbecue restaurant. Back in the private room, Tyler and the others poked their heads out to watch. Seeing me carry Serena away, they all froze in place. That was sudden. They'd just been discussing whether to go offer Serena a drink. And here Callahan had just walked out and scooped her right up. What was going on here? Serena's two other roommates were equally confused. In her year at college, plenty of guys had chased after Serena. Rich heirs, startup founders from off-campus. But without exception, she'd rejected every single one. On campus, she wouldn't even spare a glance at any guy. So how did this freshman show up? And she just threw herself at him? Mia was also a bit surprised. Based on the current situation, between these two, there might be some serious history. But as far as she knew, Serena had only ever been with one guy, the boyfriend she'd lost 3 years ago. Could Callahan be? At this thought, Mia couldn't help but shudder. Could he have come back from the dead? But right now, she didn't have time to think about it, quickly running to the restaurant's register. After paying, she led the other two roommates to follow me outside. Serena groggily opened her eyes, staring directly at my face, her arms immediately wrapping around my neck, clinging to me like a squirrel hugging a tree, her whole body hanging onto mine. Her sweet breath brushed against my lips as she whispered, "Is it really you, Callahan? You finally came back. Promise me you won't leave again, okay? I really promise I'll never fight with you again." The soft, delicate scent of a girl mixed with faint traces of alcohol. Looking at Serena in my arms, fidgeting restlessly, her eyes unfocused. After all, I was still a red-blooded young man. These little movements of hers immediately sent heat rushing through my veins. I couldn't help but swallow, helplessly looking down at Serena in my arms, a flash of tenderness passing through my eyes. I promise I'll never leave you again. When Serena heard me say that, she immediately nestled into my chest with a satisfied smile, calling out like a spoiled child, "Then you promised? Okay, no more leaving. Whoever sneaks away again is a puppy. Woof woof woof." I nodded repeatedly. "I promise, whoever disappears again is a puppy." This time Serena finally settled down, lying obediently in my arms, slowly drifting off to sleep. I turned to look at Mia walking beside me. Does she usually get like this when she drinks? Mia shook her head vigorously. No. Even though our dorm goes out sometimes, having some beers here and there. Serena always knows her limit. She's never gotten drunk before. Then she couldn't help but laugh. Actually, this is the first time any of us have seen Serena drunk. Who knew someone usually so cool and aloof would turn into such a little kid when she's wasted? The two girls beside her nodded in agreement. I nodded slightly. I see. Then, I noticed the phones raised in Mia and the others' hands, asking in surprise, "Are you guys filming?" Mia's expression froze, and she smiled at me awkwardly. "Just capturing the moment. We're just recording her drunk for fun. We'll send it to her tomorrow when she's sobered up. That way, we can help her remember what happened tonight." I twitched the corner of my mouth slightly, just saying flatly, "Go ahead and film. Just make sure you get my good side." Mia and the others immediately burst out laughing. "You got it." But after walking just a few steps, Mia looked at me curiously. "Hey, freshman, you wouldn't happen to be the boyfriend who died 3 years ago that she mentioned, would you?" I thought for a few seconds. If nothing unexpected, then yeah, that's probably me. Mia and the others were immediately stunned. "But she also said you. You want to say I've been dead for 3 years, right?" I lowered my head to look at Serena, sleeping peacefully in my arms. The corner of my mouth couldn't help but curl up slightly. Actually, I really wanted to know too, why she'd been saying I was dead for 3 years. After pausing for a few seconds, the smile on my face gradually faded. My ex-girlfriend, with Mia leading the way. I carried Serena all the way to the entrance of their dormitory. Only then did I carefully set her down from my arms. Looking at Mia and the others, I said, When she's in the dorm, please take care of her tonight. Mia and the others nodded repeatedly. No problem. Then they all gathered around Serena, helping her up, and walked step by step into the girls' dormitory. Only after they disappeared from sight did I leave the entrance of the girls' dorm. When I returned to the barbecue restaurant, Tyler and the others were still obediently sitting in the private room. Seeing me push open the door and walk in, the three of them immediately stood up, looking like a panel of judges. Tyler looked at me with curiosity. Cal, spill it. What's the situation? First day of college, and you've already quietly won over the prettiest girl at Columbia? I looked at them helplessly. Won over? What are you talking about? She and I have known each other since high school. Tyler gave me a look. Cal, don't think we're blind. If you're just normal friends, why do you have to princess carry her back to the dorm? Were her roommates just decoration? Besides, I saw it clearly. Serena threw herself into your arms first. Leo's eyes lit up. Cal, you're not that boyfriend who died 3 years ago. That Serena mentioned. Are you? You two broke up 3 years ago. You shattered her heart. Love turned to hate. So she went around telling everyone you were dead? I was completely exasperated. Stop making stuff up. I never did anything to wrong her. Besides, we weren't even dating. Hearing this, Marcus laughed. From what I know, she never dated anyone in high school. So now I get it. This dead boyfriend from 3 years ago was made up by Serena, using a fake ex as a shield. Looking at it that way, do I have a chance? Tyler shot Marcus a look. Get out of here. Stop dreaming. I swear on my sharp sixth sense, between Cal and our campus beauty Serena, there's definitely some story nobody knows about. In an instant, Tyler and the other two shot me gossipy looks. I sighed helplessly. We were never together, and there was no playing around. Just normal classmates. Leo asked again. So you don't have any feelings at all? I was silent for a moment. I do, at the same time, at a major aerospace research base in the north. A group of serious research scholars said, Everyone. Regarding this failed flight test, does anyone have any thoughts? At this moment, Professor Lucas suddenly stood up. Looking up at everyone, I know someone who might be able to help us solve this problem. The person he was talking about was Callahan Reed. Regarding the lithography machine research, the research base had also encountered quite a few problems back then, but when those problems reached his hands, they were all quickly resolved. In a sense, in the hearts of the researchers who had participated in the design at the lithography machine research base, Callahan Reed's status had practically been elevated to legend. Hearing this, Robert Lynn, the person in charge of the overall design for the new generation fighter jet engine, immediately turned his gaze toward Professor Lucas. You're saying there's someone who can come solve this problem? Professor Lucas slowly spoke. Callahan Reed. Everyone present looked confused. The name was completely unfamiliar. Because Callahan Reed's current identity was absolutely classified at the highest level domestically, only Robert Lynn standing among them showed a slight change in expression. He looked at Professor Lucas and asked, This Callahan Reed you're talking about? Is he the chief designer of the project you participated in? As the deputy director of the National Science Institute, he had access to information quickly. Not to mention, back when they were trying to nominate me as a senior fellow of the Science Institute, they'd even had meetings together regarding Callahan Reed's achievements. He had a certain understanding. Professor Lucas nodded firmly. That's him. Robert Lynn was somewhat skeptical. So, can you get him to come? From what I understand, that kid is currently wasting his time. Going to college in D.C.? That's right, wasting his time. Callahan Reed's talent for scientific research. These old fellows at the Institute knew something about it. In 3 years, he'd gone from nothing to developing 1-nanometer lithography technology, single-handedly pushing America's chip industry to the top of the world. With research talent like that, they just wanted to keep this kid locked in the research base, 24 hours a day. Professor Lucas nodded. I can't guarantee it, but we have to try. Robert Lynn thought for a few seconds, hope gradually appearing in his eyes. and finally nodded. Then go ahead and try. Early the next morning, I was packing my clothes in the dorm while talking to Professor Lucas on the phone. No problem. I'll book the earliest flight in a bit. I should arrive tonight. Then I hung up. Tyler had just sat up in bed, groggily scratching the back of his head, looking up at me packing my luggage, and asked in confusion, "Cal, why are you packing so early in the morning?" I replied simply, "Something came up at home. I need to go back. The design research work for the 7th generation fighter jet engine. This wasn't something I originally needed to participate in, but I also understood that once you've committed to scientific research, you no longer belong to yourself. Some things always need someone to do them." Tyler immediately woke up fully. "Going back? Dude, you're not skipping military training, are you?" I spoke up. "I already got permission from the school." Tyler nodded, half understanding. "How long will you be gone?" "If it's quick, a week. If not, probably until after you guys finish military training." Tyler was now fully alert. "You're not deliberately trying to skip military training, are you? And leaving so suddenly? Did you say goodbye to Serena?" My hands immediately stopped packing. On the other side, at the girls' dormitory, morning sunlight streamed through the window, scattering across the dorm room floor. Serena rubbed her aching forehead, casually stretched, and asked Mia, who was already awake beside her. "Mia, what time is it?" Mia smiled. 7 o'clock. "Still early. Not going back to sleep?" Serena quickly climbed out of bed, casually rubbing her eyes. "Did I get drunk last night?" I vaguely remember hugging someone. Hearing this, Mia laughed. "You sure did. I thought you'd lost your memory." She pulled out her phone, opening the video from last night. "Well? Need me to help you remember?" Serena groaned helplessly. "You filmed it too?" Mia held the phone up to Serena's face. "See for yourself. The guy who carried you. Do you remember him?" Serena quickly grabbed the phone. Seeing the image on the screen, her whole body froze in place. The video was playing the scene of Callahan carrying her back to campus. It had even captured what I'd said at the time. "Go ahead and film. Just make sure you get my good side." In that instant, memories came flooding back. Drop by drop, tears rapidly fell from Serena's eyes, as if afraid I would vanish. After watching the video, Serena hurriedly scrambled off the bed, staring wide-eyed at Mia. "Mia! How do you know Callahan? Where is he now?" Mia answered. "He's a freshman in the economics department. He showed up after you got drunk last night. Then you threw yourself at him, and he carried you back here." Mia probed further. "He's not. That boyfriend who died 3 years ago that you mentioned, is he?" Serena had no time to answer Mia's question, quickly changing her clothes before rushing out of the dorm. Mia called after her helplessly. "Hey, you're in such a hurry. Do you even know where his dorm is?" Serena shouted back as she ran. "Send me the freshman room assignments." At the entrance to the guys' dormitory, there weren't many people passing by. I was walking slowly along the path in front of the dorm, planning to grab breakfast at the dining hall. Suddenly, Serena's slightly trembling voice reached my ears. "Callahan." I looked up abruptly. The tears on Serena's face had been wiped dry, and she just stood there, looking at me calmly. 3 whole years had passed, and Callahan's appearance basically hadn't changed much, but he seemed to have grown quite a bit taller, and his eyes had shed their youthful innocence, replaced by a certain maturity and composure. His demeanor was the same, though, still just as gentle, even though she'd already seen me once, in the video. Now that they were officially face-to-face, in that moment, Serena felt like her heart might stop. A deathly silence fell between them, neither one speaking first, like that time years ago when she'd angrily told me, "I never want to see you again." Only back then, it had been more out of spite. Now she felt more curiosity, confusion, and anger, wanting to ask me why. I'd left without a word back then. Even if they'd never been together, shouldn't friends at least say goodbye? I also stood frozen in place, staring at Serena for a long time. She was still the same as 3 years ago. Her appearance barely changed, still just as beautiful, still just as young and radiant. Actually, when I'd left the research base, I'd already thought of all kinds of ways to start a conversation when I saw Serena again. "You're 18 now?" Do you have a boyfriend? Have you been doing okay these past few years? Congratulations. You finally got into Columbia. But now, I truly didn't know how to face Serena. 3 years ago, I received a legacy from a super civilization, the Eternal Knowledge Repository. Even with my current level of understanding, I still couldn't fully comprehend the concept of the Eternal Knowledge Repository. But it existed deep within my brain, and it was precisely through studying the contents of the Eternal Knowledge Repository that I was finally able to develop 1 nanometer lithography technology. And this was just the most basic technology in the Eternal Knowledge Repository. It was precisely because of the lithography technology, with 1 nanometer precision, that I, with a mindset of just giving it a try, offered this technology to my country. That's why 3 years ago, I left without saying goodbye. Serena and I faced each other for several dozen seconds. In just those few dozen seconds, every moment they'd shared together in high school flashed through both their minds once more. Being called up to the board together to solve problems, the cheers from classmates below, encouraging each other to finish the 5-kilometer run at the sports festival, the snacks they'd secretly eaten during class, and also the sunset when the sun went down, the evening glow painting the sky red. In both their youths, memories of each other had been etched deep. It's just a shame she'd never held my hand, sweaty after I'd finished playing basketball, and I'd never smoothed back her long hair when the wind had blown it into a mess. Now I stood there hesitating for a long while, before finally looking up and asking, "I heard you've been telling everyone I'm dead." Serena's eyes blinked rapidly, her eye sockets instantly reddening again, as if thousands of words were stuck in her throat. She gritted her teeth, nearly screaming, "That's right, Callahan. Weren't you supposed to be dead? Why are you showing up now?" For 3 whole years, she'd truly believed I was dead, but now I'd suddenly appeared before her eyes. My voice suddenly caught. I desperately wanted to explain everything that had happened over the past 3 years, why I'd left, and what I'd been doing. But given my current identity, I absolutely couldn't reveal any of it. Countless explanations in my heart were all swallowed back down. What I'd done over the past 3 years, the specific details. Even those closest to me absolutely couldn't know. Even the contributions I'd made could only be made public after I died. In the end, I could only say softly, "Either way, it's been a long time." Hearing this, Serena's expression immediately turned icy. "I don't want to see you. I came to find you, just to confirm whether you were dead or not. Now that I know you're alive, I'm leaving." With that, Serena turned to leave. "Serena," I called out to stop her. Serena turned to look at me. "What is it?" I said calmly. "I just wanted to tell you. That promise from back then? I didn't break it." Serena laughed coldly. "That promise from back then?" She looked at me, barely suppressing her anger. "Callahan! What are we to each other? Who do you think you are? Leaving whenever you want, showing up whenever you want. 3 years. I sent you so many messages, and you didn't reply to a single one. No reason, nothing. You just vanished into thin air. Did you think that was cool? Did it make you feel good? Thinking you could make me remember you for the rest of my life? Weren't you supposed to have disappeared? If you'd already disappeared, then why bother showing up again?" That last sentence, Serena practically screamed, as if wanting to release all the pain of the past 3 years, the grievances, and all her frustrations. At first, she'd really still held out hope that maybe I was just playing a prank on her, suddenly disappearing for a summer break. Back then, she'd thought when she found Callahan, she'd definitely give him a piece of her mind. But eventually, she'd given up. 3 years of complete silence from me, and she gradually felt like she was starting to forget everything that had happened between us 3 years ago. But now, I'd suddenly appeared again. Her words left me speechless. What could I possibly say? A man of honor? Having pledged himself to his country, cannot pledge himself to another. In the end, I could only sigh helplessly. "I'm sorry. I shouldn't have left without saying goodbye back then. I left too hastily, and didn't know how to face you." The research project I'd participated in was a national secret. Even my own parents, Only knew I'd been specially recruited by the government to serve my country. I had no regrets. But toward Serena, I felt guilty. Serena gritted her teeth. You don't need to apologize to me. What are we to each other anyway? You can leave if you want. Stay if you want. Whatever you do has nothing to do with me. I looked at Serena apologetically. I have to go. Something urgent came up at home. I need to go back for a while, but I'll be back at the latest after military training ends. Hearing this, Serena's expression tensed slightly. What happened? But then she pouted again. Go if you want to go. It's not like I'm anyone to you. You don't need to explain yourself to me. I smiled, saying, even though I already got permission from the school, you're still the orientation assistant for our class, a freshman missing military training. Should at least say hello to his orientation leader, right? Besides, in my eyes, you're not just simply my orientation leader. Serena huffed softly. I don't understand what you're saying. Then she pretended to be calm. Is there anything else? If not, I'm leaving. Nothing else? I raised my hand, intending to smooth her slightly messy hair, but just as my hand was about to touch her, I held back, stopping the motion. This time doesn't count as leaving without saying goodbye, right? I don't want to be a puppy. I can't be bothered to talk to you. Serena immediately remembered what she'd said when she was drunk last night. Face flushing red, she glared at me. If something came up at home, just go already. So annoying. With that, she quickly turned and walked away. I stood there watching Serena's figure run off into the distance, the corners of my mouth gradually curving into a smile. Maybe I really didn't know how to be in love. Meanwhile, when Serena got back to the dorm, she kept thinking about it, and suddenly got angry at herself. Serena, oh, Serena! Can you please not be so weak? Can you stop going soft the moment you see him? He disappeared for 3 years without a word. Does he have any idea how you felt? And here you are caring about what's happening at his house. Then she took several deep breaths, calming her emotions, and quickly made up her mind. What happened over the past 3 years? She absolutely couldn't just let it go like this. On the other side, at the airport, by this time, I had already stepped into the elevator heading to the lounge. Just then, someone shouted at everyone in the elevator. Everyone inside. Get out! Hurry up and get out! I looked up and out of the elevator, and in that crowded mass of people was apparently a celebrity, along with quite a few female fans taking photos. I couldn't help but scoff. Can't you people just wait for the next one? Did your family build this airport? The expression on the male celebrity's assistant's face immediately soured. What's that supposed to mean? Do you have any idea how packed our Kenny's schedule is? Don't you know that? Our flight is about to arrive. Get out, now. My expression didn't change. What does your flight arriving have to do with us? Ask anyone standing in this elevator. Who doesn't have their own business to attend to? Does being a celebrity give you special privileges? Hearing this, several of the obsessed female fans surrounding the male celebrity couldn't take it anymore. It's your honor to give up the elevator for Kenny. Hurry up and move. What are you just standing there for? If you make our Kenny miss his flight, can you handle the responsibility? At this point, the male celebrity's expression also turned unpleasant. 2.5 years of fame in the country had made him accustomed to being pampered. Never mind giving up an elevator. Even when he showed up 2.5 hours late to filming, the entire crew had to wait for him, but with a celebrity's professional instincts, he was still careful about certain things. If he did anything too extreme, it could easily turn public opinion against him. The next second, a smile appeared on his face, and he stopped his assistant and bodyguards, then smiled at me in the elevator. It's fine. Even though I'm in a hurry, you guys can go first. After all, everyone's busy. The corner of my mouth twitched wordlessly. Just the time wasted on this back and forth was enough for the elevator to go up and come back down, but the brain-dead fans excitedly gushed about how well-mannered their boy was, while pointing at me. I shook my head helplessly, not bothering to pay attention to that celebrity anymore, and directly pressed the button to close the elevator doors, thinking to myself, it's true, no one asks about the bones of heroes, but the whole world knows the affairs of actors. Not long after I left, The male celebrity turned around and smiled at his fans, a flash of coldness passing through his eyes. All right. Everyone calm down. This is just a small matter. Definitely don't post this online, okay? We need to get going too. Everyone disperse. The assistant also quickly caught on. Smiling at everyone head out for now. Remember, definitely don't spread this online. Definitely don't. Of course, even though that's what they said, in their minds they were already calculating how to use this for marketing. Those fans hadn't even thought about it at first, but after being reminded like that, the fan groups for this male celebrity immediately exploded. Kenny was their everything, and whoever bullied their boy was worse than killing their own parents. More than 10 minutes later, Kenny's obsessed female fans started posting online all kinds of maliciously edited videos, attack slogans targeting me, turning me in an instant into a public enemy everyone was calling to take down. In the Columbia dormitory, Mia was casually scrolling through videos, and when she saw this rapidly trending topic, she immediately called Serena over. Serena, look, isn't this your freshman? There's a ton of people online bashing him right now. Serena was confused. My freshman? What do you mean? She quickly grabbed Mia's phone and scrolled through, immediately getting angry. Are all fans this stupid? Then she pulled out her own phone, going straight to the trending topic to fire back. So celebrities are better than everyone else. It's just not giving up an elevator. What's the rush? Reincarnation or death? She could criticize Callahan. That was because Callahan owed her, but other people couldn't. But she quickly discovered that her comment was immediately drowned out by hateful responses. Worry appeared in Serena's eyes. But right at this moment, in a certain special office somewhere, an emergency red light flashed on. A large number of users are exposing identity information of our nation's SSS-level classified personnel online. Risk of information leak detected. Blocking measures prepared. Requesting specific instructions from superiors. Director General of the National Security Bureau, Richard Chen, immediately flew into a rage. What the hell are you people doing? Immediately send people to take down all information about Callahan Reed from the internet, and immediately dispatch people to investigate this matter. See if there's any foreign intelligence organization pulling strings behind this. I'm giving you 10 minutes. America can survive without me as Director of National Security, but America's scientific research community absolutely cannot survive without him. At the same time, in the airport lounge, I received a call from Director Morrison. Son, don't worry about this. Leave it to this old man to handle. Just relax and wait for your flight. At first, I didn't pay it much attention, but the next second, several flashily dressed girls walked up to me. You're Callahan Reed? You actually look pretty decent. Weren't you in a hurry? Why are you still sitting here waiting? Just sitting here doing nothing. You saw how famous our guy is, and wanted to ride his coattails, right? You wanted to get famous, didn't you? Well, we'll help you get famous then. With that, one of the girls threw an entire bottle of water on me. I didn't have time to react, and got soaked from head to toe. The security guard in the lounge saw this, and quickly ran over to me. Hey, what do you girls think you're doing? The girls exchanged glances, and immediately ran off. I had just finished wiping the water off with tissues, when the phone screen beside me suddenly lit up. Serena, worried back in the dorm, had quietly sent a message. Are you okay? My bad mood immediately lifted. Just as I was about to reply to that prideful Serena, the oldest guy in my dorm called. After listening, I immediately became furious. It turned out Serena and the girls in her dorm had all gone online to defend me. As a result, someone had dug up the fact that we were desk mates in high school, and someone had even posted her photos online. Now she was being attacked by Kenny's fans. At first, I'd looked at those obsessed fans with a tolerant attitude, not caring, but now I couldn't take it anymore. Taking a deep breath, I looked down at the message Serena had sent, immediately feeling my heart ache. She was being torn apart online like this, yet she was still worried about me. After thinking for a few seconds, I made a call. The phone was quickly answered. Serena spoke first. Callahan, are you at the airport already? Are you okay? I heard those fans are really crazy. They didn't do anything to you, did they? I'm fine. Don't worry about this for now. Can you let me handle it? Just stay in your dorm and find a fun movie to watch. By the time you finish the movie, I'll have this sorted out. But Serena's voice was a bit agitated. How are you going to handle it? There are so many people online. Tearing you apart right now? How can you handle it alone? By the end, her voice was already choked up. Seeing this, I comforted her with a few words, then pretended to joke, Miss Serena, you're this worried about me. Does that mean you've forgiven me? Absolutely not. Serena immediately pouted proudly. Callahan, let me tell you, one thing is one thing. I'm defending you online, only because they went too far. That's all. Don't overthink it. Give up on that idea. I will absolutely not forgive you. Humph. After saying that, she silently added in her heart, at least I can't forgive him that easily. She really was that weak. They'd clearly been out of contact for 3 years. But the moment he appeared, her heart immediately raised the white flag, surrendering unconditionally. All the unhappiness in her heart instantly vanished like smoke. From the first moment I saw Serena again, I knew she was still the same girl from before, just too proud. The only thing worth celebrating was that we still hadn't missed each other. I looked up. There's plenty of time ahead. After I'm done with things at home, I'll properly ask for your forgiveness then. Serena huffed. I can't be bothered to talk to you. I'm hanging up. In the girls' dorm, Serena's face tensed, and she directly hung up. Then she quickly took several deep breaths, raising her hand to fan her slightly flushed cheeks. After shaking her head, she picked up her phone again, transforming into a warrior of justice to continue commenting. After hanging up with Serena, I took out from my suitcase an encrypted phone and dialed a number. This is Callahan Reed. Security code. I'm requesting to speak with Director General Richard Chen of the National Security Bureau. After Richard Chen answered, Callahan, I'm truly sorry. Rest assured your identity absolutely won't be exposed. Everyone involved, our National Security Bureau, will thoroughly investigate. Then I'll trouble you, Director Chen. But I need to trouble you with one more thing. That girl at Columbia who went on Twitter to support me, I don't want her affected by this anymore. No trouble at all. These matters are what our National Security Bureau should be handling. With that, he hung up, looking at the topic still skyrocketing on Twitter. What's going on? Haven't we started deleting comments? Why is the heat still so high? The staff member was somewhat helpless. There are too many fans. We can't delete fast enough. We delete one batch, and another appears immediately. Richard Chen snorted coldly. Notify all other agencies. Within 2 minutes, all information about Callahan Reed online must completely disappear. With his single command, police stations across the country, military bases, all received urgent red notices requesting cooperation in the investigation. The notice contained only 2 directives. First, no unauthorized discussion at police stations. Second, make arrests. Though the description in the notice was very simple, everyone knew. The shorter the words, the bigger the matter. At the same time, in the high-end VIP lounge, Kenny lounged leisurely on a luxury massage chair, watching the heated argument in the trending topic, his eyes full of contempt and satisfaction. Country bumpkin, you're just an ordinary person trying to fight me. I can destroy you with a flick of my finger. His assistant beside him laughed. The fans really came through. It hasn't even been half an hour. And this topic is about to hit #1 on trending. Your exposure has increased quite a bit. Just as they were celebrating, at Kenny's management company, a secretary rushed in frantically. Director Sun, this is bad. People from the IRS are here. They want to take all of our company's financial and tax documents, and many agencies, even people from the police station, are all heading to the company. Director Sun's expression immediately fell into panic. Meanwhile, at the airport, Kenny and his assistant were continuously receiving all kinds of contract cancellation notices. Before they even understood what was happening, 4 people in plain clothes approached. "We are enforcement officers from the National Security Bureau. According to our investigation, you two are involved in endangering classified national personnel. You are hereby approved for arrest. Please come with us." Kenny stood frozen in place. All he'd done was ask people to give up an elevator, and they hadn't even given it up. How did it end up like this? Who the hell was that guy? Kenny asked unwillingly. "Can I ask who the hell this Callahan Reed is?" The enforcement officer's face was stern. "You're not qualified to know his identity." But before Kenny could recover, he spotted me sitting quietly in the lounge. Then, 2 people from the National Security Bureau immediately approached. "Mr. Reed, the online matter has been mostly resolved. The 2 of us have been sent to ensure your safety." I stood up to thank them, then glanced over at Kenny, smiling. Big celebrity. Good luck in the days ahead. He was immediately provoked. But the moment he moved, he was restrained by the 2 officers escorting him. However, a celebrity does have many supporting fans. But when countless scandals were exposed, his fans immediately couldn't sit still. Just over 10 minutes later, even bigger bombshell news appeared. According to the tax agency investigation, Kenny had evaded over $100 million in taxes. This directly shocked public opinion. On the other side, in the Columbia girls' dormitory, Mia excitedly shouted, "Serena! Serena! Did you see that?" The government stepped in. "Your Callahan is really lucky this time." Serena nodded repeatedly. "I saw it." But she proudly clarified, "Let me declare again. There's really nothing between me and Callahan." But the next second, the phone in her hand buzzed. Her expression immediately tensed, and she quickly signaled for silence. "Don't talk yet. Callahan's calling." Mia immediately grinned mischievously. "And you said—" "There's nothing between you and Callahan. The moment he calls, you're already this nervous." "Go away." She kept rolling her eyes. Taking a deep breath, she finally answered, "Callahan, what is it?" "Is something wrong?" "I'm about to board the plane, so I called to let you know." Serena nodded thoughtfully, then immediately pouted. "What are we to each other anyway? If you're boarding, just board. What does it have to do with me? You don't need to call me." At that moment, an announcement for the flight to Northern Base echoed through the airport, reminding me it was time to board. "When I get back, I'll come find you. I also want to know what you meant by ex-boyfriend who died 3 years ago." "What exactly did you mean by ex-boyfriend?" "My ex-girlfriend." Serena's face immediately flushed. "What ex-boyfriend? I don't know what you're talking about. Go board your plane. I'm hanging up." After hanging up, Serena immediately became anxious. Why did he have to remember this? Back then I really thought he was dead. Who knew he'd still be alive? How am I supposed to explain this? I can't exactly tell him that I liked him so much, that I gave him, supposedly dead, the title of ex-boyfriend, can I? But then she became confused again. Passenger Callahan Reed, traveling to Northern Base. When did Callahan move to Northern Base? Before she could think it through, Mia sidled up with a mischievous grin. "Little Serena, do you know what you looked like when you were on the phone just now?" "Like a lovesick little kitten." Mia grinned and walked up to her. "Serena, do you know what you looked like just now?" Serena was full of questions. "Like what?" "Like a woman blessed in love. If you really still think about him, just text him." "No way." Serena immediately shook her head and pouted. "This gorgeous lady right here? Is there no one else besides Callahan? Why should I text him first?" On the other side, in order to, quickly, develop the aircraft engine, I studied the materials carefully on the plane. At 11 at night, I arrived at Robert Lin's office, handing him the USB drive in my hand. "Director Lin, here are some ideas, and research blueprints I have, regarding the aircraft engine." Robert Lin had only looked at it for a moment, when his expression gradually became serious, because the materials I'd provided were incredibly detailed. At that moment, my phone suddenly buzzed. "Excuse me, Director Lin." Robert Lin smiled. No problem. This late at night? It's probably your little girlfriend at Columbia, texting you. Young people in love. I've been there too. Go ahead and check it. Don't mind me." I looked at my phone, and sure enough, it was a message from Serena. Are you home yet? I typed back. Already home. Talking with someone right now? What's up? When Serena saw this message, she immediately got annoyed. She'd barely managed to set aside her last bit of pride, to take the initiative and ask Callahan what he was doing. And this guy said he was talking to someone else. He had time to talk to other people, but not time to send her a message that he'd gotten home. Disappear for 3 years? And we're not good friends anymore? We used to be desk mates. Even if he was just taking a shower, he'd text me to let me know. Men really are fickle. Was I just being delusional? Serena huffed softly, typed out a few messages and sent them. I came at a bad time. I won't bother you anymore. Go ahead and talk to them today. I'll come back tomorrow. Good night. I'm going to sleep. Seeing Serena suddenly send a string of messages like that, I felt a bit confused. What's going on here? And what's with this tone? Robert Lin noticed my expression wasn't right, and asked, Fighting with your girlfriend? Back when I was chasing my wife, I never got tired of making her happy. If it's a relationship issue, feel free to consult this old man. And so, just like that, one dared to teach and one dared to learn. I sent Serena a message like this. Okay, then get some rest first. The dorm AC is on in summer. Remember to cover up with a blanket so you don't catch a cold. Good night. Want to squeeze the little cutie to death. When Serena saw this on the other end, her expression immediately froze. Gritting her teeth, she typed furiously. Callahan Reed, 3 years without a beating. And you're getting cocky? Want to squeeze the little cutie to death? I'll squeeze you to death, you dog of a man. I was a bit stunned. Wasn't it want to squeeze the little cutie to death? After hesitating for a few seconds, I quickly texted back. Isn't that what everyone says online? Serena was truly furious. That's supposed to be, good night, Jian. Callahan, are you a caveman or something? Mia in the dorm immediately looked curiously toward Serena. Did your Callahan make you mad? Serena gripped her phone tightly. I've decided. I'm not talking to him for at least 3 days, Mia muttered. I give it 1 day, tops. Robert Lin looked at me standing there dazed. So how'd it go? Did she happily go to sleep? I was covered in figurative black lines. Yeah, she went to sleep. The next morning, as an orientation assistant, Serena sat on the sports field, occasionally checking her phone. Mia, sitting beside her, quickly asked, Serena, are you hiding a man in your phone? You check it every few minutes. What's going on? Serena immediately pouted, her voice full of resentment. It's all because of Callahan. This morning, I only sent one good morning text. And now it's almost noon, and he still hasn't replied. Even though she'd said she wouldn't talk to him for 3 days, she hadn't told him that. She'd even specially posted on social media, with a photo, of military training under the scorching summer sun, just waiting for Callahan to text her, asking how military training at school was going. Maybe if she felt soft-hearted, she'd talk to him. Who knew she'd give him the chance, and he'd still be useless? Mia quickly spoke up. Didn't you say yesterday you wouldn't talk to him for 3 days? Serena pouted with grievance. Can't he text me first? Seeing this, Mia couldn't help but reach out and pinch Serena's pretty, still slightly chubby cheeks. I'm begging you, little Serena. Do you have to be this adorable? After thinking for a moment, she continued. If he won't text you, then just don't talk to him anymore. There are plenty of men in the world. If it really doesn't work out, just move on. He's not the only one out there for you. Serena pouted. We'll see. She raised her hand to check her phone again. Still no messages. That afternoon, at the research base, dozens of top experts in various fields, professors all gathered together. Among everyone present, except for Professor Lucas, most had received transfer orders and been urgently transported to the northern base. They had no idea what had happened. Just as everyone was buzzing with speculation, Robert Lin finally led me and Professor Lucas slowly into the conference room. Seeing me appear, some people in the conference room were stunned. Who's this kid? The people here didn't know about my achievements, but research personnel working at the base were at least around 30 years old, and the older ones were already in their 70s or 80s. Robert Lin swept his gaze over everyone Everyone, please quiet down. His voice carried a certain gravity, immediately silencing everyone present. Even the elderly academicians from the National Science Institute fell silent, calmly looking toward Robert Lin. After clearing his throat, Robert Lin continued. There's definitely a reason. I've summoned everyone here. But before that, I need all of you to sign confidentiality agreements. After signing the agreements, we'll discuss everything else. Then, each person was handed a confidentiality agreement. Everyone opened their document envelopes, and the first page marked Top Secret immediately appeared before their eyes. 5-star top secret? A top secret confidentiality agreement? What kind of project is this? A 5-star confidentiality agreement. That hasn't appeared many times before, has it? Being able to participate in such an important research project was a dream that countless researchers could never achieve in their entire lives. After everyone finished signing the agreements, Robert Lin cleared his throat and said, Now that the confidentiality agreements are signed, let me make introductions. The project I'm about to announce is our nation's warp drive device, design and development project. Callahan Reed, standing beside me, is the lead director of this project. Someone spoke up. Director Lin, you're not joking, are you? Just like this. Can a young person really be in charge of this project? Others began to chime in with questions. Robert Lin didn't say anything more, just glanced at me. I immediately understood. And after clearing my throat, slowly walked to the front of everyone, esteemed experts, professors, and academicians of the Science Institute. I know my age is too young, and I know you all have doubts about why I'm participating in this project. Whether you want to stay or leave, I, Callahan Reed, can't stop you. I'll give everyone 3 minutes to think and decide whether to stay or go. After 3 minutes, I'll explain my reasons to everyone. Any doubts or questions can be asked directly then. The entire conference room fell silent. Some people glanced at me with surprise. Regardless of his research capabilities, in front of so many expert professors like this, he could still confidently speak up. In terms of presence alone, he'd already surpassed all the young talents in the country. 3 minutes later, naturally no one wanted to leave. No matter what, a 5-star top-secret project. No one wanted to miss such an opportunity. Seeing this, I finally spoke up. This warp drive engine device research was personally proposed by me, and I've already achieved some theoretical results and research documentation. Going forward, I'll fully present to everyone the direction of this research, as well as the research content you'll need to collaborate on. Feel free to raise any questions. Countless people couldn't help but be astonished. Is it really a warp drive device? Have we old folks become obsolete? Are young people this capable now? After fully accepting this reality, everyone organized a brief meeting. The meeting lasted nearly 6 hours, not ending until after 2 in the morning. When I finally concluded it mainly focused on explaining some implementation theories of the warp drive device. In between, I also answered many questions raised by the experts and scholars. When the meeting ended, thunderous applause erupted, along with passionate cheers from each researcher, echoing throughout the conference room. These people had truly grown old. But fortunately, American research had found successors. The next generation truly surpassed the last. After saying goodbye to the experts, I walked to the security box at the door to retrieve my phone. As I turned it on, I headed back to my room in the guest house. After the phone powered up, I saw the message Serena had sent around 11 at night, just a brief goodnight text. After thinking for a few seconds, I smiled and replied, "Good night, sweet dreams." The next second, Serena sighed, replied immediately, "Oh my, our very busy VIP finally deigns to reply." I was a bit stunned, and typed back, "You're awake?" Serena immediately gritted her teeth. "Sleep? What sleep? All day today, besides one good morning message." Callahan really hadn't sent a single text to her. It made her heart restless, like ants crawling inside. Sending the good night text was also hoping Callahan would message her, but she'd waited and waited until now. Taking a deep breath, quickly calming her emotions. Serena finally replied, "Couldn't sleep. Was chatting with my roommates for a bit. Is something wrong?" "Nothing's wrong. I sent several messages in a row, asking, so when are you planning to sleep?" "Don't know," Serena pouted, hesitated for a few seconds, then immediately texted to ask, "Is the stuff at home?" "That busy? So busy you don't have time all day to send me even one text?" I quietly replied, "It really is quite busy." Serena quickly responded, "Well, that's fine then silently gritted her teeth. "If you're that busy, then don't text me anymore. Just focus on your own stuff." But in the end, she still didn't send those thoughts in her heart. Instead, she asked curiously, "Last time you made me so mad I lost my mind." I didn't get to ask, "Callahan, you disappeared for 3 years. Don't you think you owe me an explanation?" But after thinking it over, she realized asking like this seemed a bit too eager. So she continued, "Of course. If you don't think you need to explain to me, that's fine too. It's not like we're anything to each other anyway." After sending the message, Serena muttered to herself, "Stupid Callahan. Disappearing for 3 years. This beautiful young lady is still willing to text you, and you should consider yourself lucky. You better give me a proper explanation for why you left without a word 3 years ago." I hesitated for a moment before replying, "Serena, can we not talk about this?" Serena was so angry she wanted to punch her bed, but she still calmed her emotions and quickly replied, "Oh, okay. Never mind then. I'm going to sleep." When I saw this message, I hurriedly asked, "Are you mad?" Serena laughed mockingly at herself. "This blockhead isn't completely hopeless after all." She continued replying, "No. How would I dare be mad at the great busy Mr. Reed? What if you get upset and disappear without a word again like 3 years ago?" I was stunned, then quickly replied, I won't. 3 years ago, there really were circumstances beyond my control, but I promise, I'll never leave without saying goodbye again." Serena's message came quickly. "It's not like I'm anyone to you. You don't need to specifically tell me this." I typed back, "Aren't we good friends?" Serena replied immediately, "Just good friends?" I replied right away, "What else could we be?" "Nothing." Serena was so angry she pouted, and after replying to the message, helplessly pulled at her hair. "He's hopeless, completely hopeless. This guy is truly beyond saving. I made it so obvious. Does he still not understand what I mean?" She sighed, and Serena hurriedly replied, "Fine, I want to go to sleep. Get some rest early." "Okay, good friend. I sent a good night message. Okay, then go to sleep." "Good night," Serena replied. "Good night." Over the next few days, the two of them continued like this, exchanging sporadic messages. I'd send a good morning. Serena would reply with a good morning. Serena would send a good night. I'd reply with a good night. Other than that, there was no other communication. But every time I saw a message from Serena, it was a rare moment of relaxation in my busy research work. 10 days later, Colombia's military training was also coming to an end. The research base was also filled, with enthusiastic applause. A full 10 days. During these 10 days, they'd been at the research base day and night, just to build the model before them. As long as this model could operate successfully, it would mean Callahan's theory was feasible. Then today would be a turning point. Countless people began discussing in hushed tones, in our lifetime, to actually witness the possibility of warp drive implementation. It's truly unbelievable. If the model can operate completely, this will definitely be a huge leap forward in the global propulsion field. This day will surely be recorded in history. Shortly after, a researcher brought over a red activation button. "Mr. Reed, please activate it." I took a deep breath, my expression serious, as I pressed the button in my hand. Everyone held their breath in anticipation. Then, the warp drive device model immediately began to operate. Powerful electrical current was transmitted inside. The entire research base began to glow with waves of red light. Continuous sounds began reaching everyone's ears. Activation successful. Initiating warp engine chamber. Warp engine chamber activation successful. Negative energy generation startup complete. Negative energy detected via laser emission. Proceeding with program. For high-energy warp particle collection. Warp field established successfully. Currently detecting warp level 1 point. Preparing to release test object. As the final countdown ended, a 50-pound metal ball was directly dropped from above into the warp field. The iron ball that should have fallen straight to the ground, the moment it entered the warp field, flew directly forward instead. It finally slammed hard into a massive iron door 100 meters away. Seeing this, everyone's anxious hearts finally settled. Throughout the entire base, celebratory cheers erupted. We did it! Warp drive is feasible. Countless people embraced each other, crying with joy. Within the next 5 years, 10 years at most, America would definitely be able to bring a real warp drive device onto the world stage. Robert Lin's eyes reddened. He'd devoted his entire life to engines, from watching America's fighter engine technology go from nothing to something. He'd experienced almost all the hardships along the way. More than anyone, he hoped that America, in the field of aerospace, could stand at the top of the world. And today, he'd witnessed it. After the excitement subsided, I slowly bowed to everyone. Callahan Reed would like to thank everyone for your understanding. I'll be counting on you for the road ahead. But just as I lowered my head, I felt my head growing increasingly heavy. I immediately thought to myself that something was wrong. My body had been overworked too severely lately. My stamina couldn't hold up anymore. My body involuntarily began to sway slightly. Callahan, what's wrong? Robert Lin was the first to notice Callahan's condition, because since this morning, he'd felt my energy was off. But because the warp drive model device was about to be assembled, I'd forced myself to keep going. Now that the model test was complete, the breath I'd been holding finally released. I smiled bitterly. This stamina of mine really isn't cutting it. Only 10 days without sleep and I'm already like this. Roughly understanding my current condition, it was just exhaustion. I just didn't know how many days I'd be unconscious. Hopefully not too long, or Serena would worry. Then I used the last of my strength to glance at Robert Lin. I'll have to trouble you all again this time. The next second, I slowly closed my eyes. My body, beyond my control, began to fall forward. I vaguely heard Robert Lin shouting toward the door, "Hurry! Get help now. Get him to the Northern Base Military Hospital immediately." Above Columbia University, 4 of America's most advanced fighter jets roared across the sky, and in the middle of those 4 fighters, an armed transport plane flew steadily, students on their break. All looked up at the blue sky, their expressions slightly shocked. Oh my God, 4 fighter jets as escorts. Who's on that transport plane? In the middle? Or are they transporting some important supplies? Even fighter jets had to be deployed. What big thing happened? Quite a few students also took out their phones to take photos. The military training instructors who had been relaxing immediately stood up. Everyone put your phones down. No photos. Delete all the photos you've taken. Along with continuous shouting, the head instructor's voice also came through the loudspeakers. Everyone, break time is over. Put down the phones in your hands. And in other areas of DC, quite a few people had also filmed this scene. But strangely, either the videos in their hands couldn't be sent at all, or, after sending, they were deleted within a minute. Serena looked up, watching the fighter jets roar across the sky, and for some reason suddenly felt uneasy. Mia beside her quickly noticed something was off. "Serena, what's wrong? You don't look so good." "It's nothing. I just suddenly feel a bit uncomfortable." Serena shook her head listlessly, then forced a smile to reassure Mia. "I'm fine. I'll feel better after resting a bit." But her eyes remained fixed on the fighter jets, rapidly disappearing into the distant sky. 3 days later, the VIP ward at DC Military Hospital. After Callahan was brought to the DC General Hospital, direct orders came from above, basically summoning all the top experts in the hospital. Together they examined and consulted on Callahan's condition. It had kept all of them on edge. Only after officially confirming that Callahan was just overworked and needed rest Did everyone breathe a sigh of relief? On the Columbia sports field, Mia asked Serena beside her. Serena! Want some boba? No thanks. Serena's mood was a bit distracted, saying, I'm feeling annoyed. Don't want to eat anything. What's wrong? Mia asked curiously. You've been spacing out for 3 days now. What's going on? After snapping back to reality, Mia began to ask with a smile. It's not because of Nathan's song, is it? I heard. He's planning to confess to you at tonight's freshman welcome party. Is that what's bothering you? That's not the main reason. Serena sighed. 3 days ago, after Callahan sent his good morning text, he'd vanished into thin air. She'd sent so many messages. Not a single one was answered. It was like Callahan had disappeared again. D.C., Military General Hospital. While 2 elderly academicians were arguing, I lay on the hospital bed, my fingers twitching slightly. Then I slowly opened my eyes and glanced at Robert Lynn and Director Morrison beside me. Weakly speaking, my phone? Where's my phone? Robert Lynn immediately stood up from the sofa in the hospital room, overjoyed as he rushed to Callahan. Cal! You're awake? Then he shouted out of the room. Doctor? Doctor, come quick. The patient is awake. I looked at the 2 excited men. I'd only taken a nap. Did they need to be this excited when I woke up? Then I reminded them again. You 2, does anyone have time to help me get my phone? Oh, and by the way, how many days was I out this time? Robert Lynn nodded repeatedly. 3 days. He walked over to the table with Callahan's personal belongings, found the phone, and immediately brought it to me. I took it and quickly turned on the screen. A flood of content immediately appeared before my eyes. It was a pile of messages from Serena. Good night. Did you stay up all night last night? Where are you, Callahan? Are you planning to disappear again? Still not replying? Callahan, I'm giving you another half hour. If you still don't reply, I'm never talking to you again. Callahan Reed, you jerk. I'm giving you one last chance. Reply to me. Callahan, where the hell are you? Callahan, I hate you. Then there were messages from my roommates. Tyler said, Cal, urgent news for you. At our department's freshman welcome party in a few days, that sophomore student council president from our department is planning to confess to Serena. Are you done with stuff at home yet? Marcus and Leo sent similar messages. Cal, someone's about to steal your girl. Get back here quick. After quickly scanning these messages, I immediately looked up, calling out to the doctors, who had just reached the door. Hey, can I be discharged today? What did you say? Before the doctors could react, the 2 elders were already anxious. Robert Lynn and Director Morrison both looked at me. Cal, why would you want to be discharged today? If it's to attend tonight's celebration banquet, we can send someone to the hospital to pick you up. We can even push you in a wheelchair. Or, better yet, don't go at all. By then, the doctor had also walked up to me. Mr. Reed, there's no problem with you being discharged today, but can you guarantee your body will recover in the next half day? I nodded firmly, then looked at the 2 directors. How is the celebration banquet arranged? Robert Lynn spoke up. The celebration banquet is at the Grand Hall. It starts at 7. Around 7:30, leadership will arrive for the award presentation and speeches, and it ends at 8. After that, we move to the State Guest House for dinner. I glanced again at the timing of the freshman welcome party on my phone. The welcome party started at 8 in the evening, so I continued asking, how long does it take from the State Guest House to my school? Director Morrison casually answered, It's very close. About 10 minutes. Robert Lynn was immediately stunned. Cal! You're not planning to go back to school, are you? Is your body in any condition for that? I shot Robert Lynn a determined look. Robert Lynn nodded thoughtfully. I understand. You're being cuckolded. Black lines appeared on my forehead, thinking to myself that this old man was still pretty hip, but I could only laugh and cry. No, I'm not being cuckolded. I just have something to do back at school. Robert Lynn quickly said, Cal, you don't need to explain. We all understand. What do you want for lunch today? I couldn't be bothered to explain, and casually answered, As long as I'm full. At this moment, a piece of news quickly dominated the trending topics. Tonight at 7 o'clock, the National Science Institute has important news to announce. State media will broadcast the entire press conference live. Television stations will also simultaneously broadcast the press conference content. Everyone is invited to watch. As soon as this news broke, Twitter exploded. Oh my God. What did the Science Institute develop? One had to know that as state media releasing news, they'd always been straightforward about everything, never promoting in advance. Something big must have happened this time. Time passed minute by minute. Close to 6:30 in the evening, I changed into a black suit in the hospital room. Robert Lin and Director Morrison had been waiting at the door early, watching me push open the door in a suit. Both of them were stunned, Cal. This is the first time we've seen you in a suit. I have to say, you actually look pretty sharp, just slightly less handsome than me in my youth. Director Morrison laughed. Looking sharp is good. After all, you're the main character today. Even if you don't end up on TV, you can still leave a good impression on the leadership. Because Callahan Reed's identity was still classified. Whether receiving awards or medals, they were all presented privately and internally. No media would be able to capture Callahan's face, or even his profile. At most, just a view of his back. I nodded slightly. Okay. I naturally understood what Director Morrison said, and was very understanding about it. I myself hadn't gotten into scientific research for fame or profit. After chatting for a bit, the three of us left the military hospital together, getting into the black sedan that had been prepared at the door. In just about 10-something minutes, the car stopped in front of the state guest house. The surrounding area was completely sealed off. After arriving at the grand hall on the top floor of the state guest house, the atmosphere in the hall was extremely serious, without any noise whatsoever. Even the media reporters, after setting up their tripods and configuring their cameras, quietly waited for the press conference to begin. Nearly 100 white chairs were arranged around the hall, each seat bearing someone's name. Robert Lin's and Director Morrison's nameplates were placed at the head of the first row. Callahan Reed was also in the first row, but positioned off to the side. Seeing this seating arrangement, I immediately asked, Director Morrison, Director Lin, my name being placed here, isn't it a bit inappropriate? Because my row was filled entirely with the names of top academicians from the National Science Institute. What's inappropriate about it? Director Morrison immediately laughed. You're qualified to sit in the same row as us. Besides, this time, not letting you show your face is already unfair enough. This seat absolutely cannot be changed. And rest assured, the media reporters are all internal. They've been thoroughly briefed. No camera will be pointed at you. At most, just a shot of your back. After speaking, Director Morrison sighed with emotion. Back in our day, we all had to hide our identities, researching in silence. But times are different now. When the time is right, your name, Callahan Reed, will definitely be famous in research circles worldwide. This is the confidence that comes from a rising nation. And in that confidence, Callahan Reed has played a part. I hesitated for a few seconds, and finally sat down in this seat. Shortly after everyone was seated, the countdown for the Science Institute's press conference reached its final 5 minutes. In the live stream room, there were already nearly 1 million people watching online. At the same time, in the Columbia University auditorium, freshmen and upperclassmen from the department had all gathered, sitting neatly in the rows of seats in the auditorium. Serena stood backstage, resting, her entire being exuding elegance. Standing not far from Serena was Nathan Song, wearing a black suit, currently adjusting his tie. After fixing his tie, Nathan Song immediately smiled and walked up to Serena. So, class president, are you nervous? It's fine, Serena replied coldly, then sat down in her chair. In the green room, casually scrolling through her phone. Nathan Song was a bit stunned by this, but the next second, his gaze became even more determined. Tonight, he would definitely confess successfully. Tyler and the others sat in the auditorium seats, the 3 roommates whispering to each other. I'm telling you, is Cal going to be late tonight? Cal just texted saying he's on his way. He'll definitely be at the auditorium before 8:30. Meanwhile, at the Science Institute, time passed minute by minute. When it hit exactly 7 o'clock, DC time, the press conference that everyone in the live stream room and countless viewers in front of their TVs had been waiting for finally began. The live stream channel immediately opened, and on the TV screen appeared the image of the press conference. What caught the eye was a man with white hair. This was the current spokesperson for the National Press Bureau, William Warren. Dear viewers, members of the press, good evening. Welcome to the Science Institute's press conference. The next second, countless camera flashes went off. Lenses began frantically, capturing photos of William Warren speaking. This press conference has only one item, which is regarding a major invention that the Science Institute has achieved a breakthrough in. Through the research efforts of the scientific team, led by academician Morrison of the Science Institute, after 3 years of overcoming countless difficulties, our nation has finally succeeded in breaking through 1 nanometer lithography technology research. The emergence of this technology will greatly enhance our nation's scientific and technological development, and also represents that our nation's research team has broken through the technological blockade of numerous foreign technology conglomerates. As soon as William Warren finished this statement, everyone present was stunned. In the live stream room, comments flooded even more frantically. Oh my God, our country really has 1 nanometer chips now. We've really taken the lead in the world. Does this mean the phones we use in the future can all be equipped with domestic 1 nanometer chips? Gaming must be insanely fast. On the other side of the Pacific, in a magnificent palace in America, the head of the intelligence agency was standing beside the president's office, and before the two of them, on an Apple computer, the Science Institute's press conference was being live-streamed. Even they had currently only developed lithography machine chips, but China had quietly developed lithography machine chips with 1 nanometer precision. This had completely disrupted their series of plans regarding China, turning them from the previously proactive side completely into the passive side. The president was rapidly flipping through a file. Finally, he put the file down, frowned at the person in charge, and asked, "Why are you showing me the file of a 20-year-old kid?" The person in charge immediately explained, "It's like this. This is intelligence our overseas team brought back. This young person named Callahan Reed disappeared exactly 3 years ago. I've used nearly our entire intelligence network over there, but couldn't find any documentation about this young person. This person seemed to have vanished into thin air only a month ago. Did he reappear in public view? And most importantly, just 1 month after he disappeared, China announced that 1 nanometer precision lithography had been successfully developed. Therefore, we have reason to suspect that this young person was definitely a research member for the 1 nanometer precision lithography machine, and may have been responsible for some key steps." Hearing this, a cold glint immediately appeared in the president's eyes. "Then go investigate for me. If it really is him, you know what to do." On the other side, at the state guest house, after Director Morrison finished introducing the chip, the entire internet was buzzing. "Wow, isn't this data a bit too insane?" I suspect the old director of the Science Institute said it this way so we could understand. I feel like this isn't the only outstanding aspect of this chip. At the end of the speech, Director Morrison picked up the microphone again, glanced at Callahan Reed sitting in the corner, and spoke calmly. "Finally, I want to tell everyone, although I'm listed as the person in charge of this project, the chief designer of this research project is actually someone else. However, due to confidentiality regulations, we cannot directly announce the name of this researcher. His photo won't even appear in our cameras, but it was him 3 years ago, at an age when he should have been living his youth to the fullest, who resolutely left his hometown, leading our research team through one difficulty after another. Only then did we achieve lithography technology. That truly belongs to America. Only then do we have the Azure Dragon #1 chip that we're presenting today. He is the true master that America deserves. Here, as the director of the Science Institute, I sincerely thank this outstanding researcher. I also sincerely thank the other researchers, who silently remain hidden in the shadows, quietly dedicating themselves to science. Thank them for their tremendous contributions to our nation's scientific research endeavors. The glory of standing here today belongs to them. As soon as Director Morrison said this, in the live stream room, comments immediately flooded the screen. What does this mean? The person who developed the lithography technology is someone else? 3 years of silent dedication, and continuing to remain anonymous in the future. They are the stars we should truly admire, sending the highest respect to the scientists working anonymously. Nothing more to say. Saluting those who work in scientific research. At this moment, a comment scrolled past everyone's eyes. No regrets being born in America in this life. In the next life, still in this land of flowers. The next second, countless identical comments appeared in the live stream room. The press conference soon ended. Director Morrison walked up to me. "Cal, let's go. The leadership is waiting for you in his office." I was stunned for a few seconds, my heartbeat involuntarily quickening. I'd been at the research base for 3 years, and had met quite a few high-level leaders, but most of them were in the research field. Meeting the top leadership, this was the first time. The next second, I smiled and nodded, following Director Morrison out of the hall, arriving at an office. On the top floor of the State Guest House, this was one of the leadership's temporary office addresses. A spacious room, with bright red carpet on the floor. The furnishings inside were actually very simple. At this moment, the elderly man with an aged face was sitting beside his desk, and in front of him, there was also a red certificate of honor and an exquisite small box made of sandalwood. After Director Morrison led me into the room, the elderly man slowly rose from his chair. When he saw how young Callahan Reed was, he was slightly stunned, but he quickly smiled warmly. Stepping forward to shake my hand, "Academician Reed, seeing is truly believing. The future of America's scientific research community will have to rely on you young people to carry forward." I nodded slightly. "I'm just doing what any American citizen should do." The elderly man laughed heartily. "Well said. Just doing what an American citizen should do. This time, you've rendered great service to our nation." The elderly man released my hand, smiling warmly. "Your 1-nanometer lithography technology has truly solved a major problem for us. From now on, our America, in the field of chips, will no longer have to bow to other technological nations. This is all thanks to you." I smiled modestly. Regarding the lithography technology, I only provided the technical theory and concepts. The credit should belong to the entire project research team. Without them, how could I have completed it alone? "You're really too modest," the elderly man laughed. Then he returned to his desk, his expression gradually becoming serious. "Conrad Callahan Reed, next. I will present your award on behalf of the Science Institute." My expression immediately became solemn. The elderly man looked at me and spoke. "Regarding Comrade Callahan Reed, as the chief designer of the project, having struggled hard for 3 years, leading our nation's scientific research team, to break through 1-nanometer precision lithography technology, rendering great service to our nation, Comrade Callahan Reed is hereby awarded America's highest science and technology award, and is specially granted the title of Senior Academician of the Science Institute." The elderly man slowly walked up to Callahan Reed, handing the certificate of honor to him. "Cal, take it. This honor is well deserved." I nodded firmly, solemnly receiving the certificate of honor with both hands. Then the elderly man returned to his desk, picked up a medal from the box, and continued seriously. "Additionally, considering that Callahan Reed, Comrade has made tremendous contributions to America, on behalf of the organization, I specially award you the American Doctor's Medal. I hope you will continue to strive in the future, taking America's scientific research endeavors to new heights." After speaking, the elderly man slowly pinned the red medal onto Callahan Reed's left chest. Finally, he even helped Callahan straighten his collar. Then the elderly man looked at me meaningfully and said, "Cal, this award ceremony has been unfair to you. When the day truly comes, I will personally present your award before all the people of America." I nodded solemnly. After bidding farewell to the leadership, I left the top floor of the state guest house. In the hallway, I raised my hand to check my phone. It was just past 8:10. Getting into the black car waiting at the door, the car immediately sped off toward Columbia University. In the Columbia University auditorium, Tyler was a bit restless. "What do you guys think is going on with Cal? Didn't he say he was on his way?" The ceremony started. "Why isn't he back yet?" But the next second, Leo looked up. "Cal just replied in the dorm group chat. Said he's on his way. He'll definitely be at the school auditorium within 10 minutes. Only then did Tyler breathe a sigh of relief. But right at this moment, Leo couldn't help but add, "What's going on? Look quick. The orientation leader just messaged in the class group, saying the girl preparing our class's performance suddenly felt unwell and went straight to the infirmary. She probably can't go on stage. She's asking if anyone in the group can play piano. Do any of you guys know how to play?" Tyler and Marcus both shook their heads. "We really don't know how." The next second, Callahan Reed suddenly replied in the class group, I can fill in for her." Then, I sent another message to the dorm group, "How long until our class's performance starts?" Tyler thought for a few seconds and replied, "Probably about half an hour." "Got it. Almost there." I opened the car door, thanked the driver, then immediately ran toward the auditorium entrance. Seeing me appear in a suit, Tyler and the others immediately exclaimed, "Oh my God! Cal, you're finally back." Marcus even looked me up and down. "Where'd you get this suit? You actually look pretty sharp in it, just slightly less than me." As for the doctor's medal, pinned to my chest, he directly ignored it. A suit with some kind of pin was normal, right? I didn't have time to catch up with Marcus and the others, and directly asked, "Where's Serena now?" Leo casually answered, "Where else? She's in the backstage green room of the auditorium right now." My voice was a bit urgent. "Take me to find her." Tyler was a bit helpless. "We can't get in. Only performers can go backstage." "Wait," Marcus smirked. "We can't." "But you can." "Cal, I didn't know you learned piano too?" I nodded. "I learned when I was young." Tyler immediately clapped his hands. "Then what are we waiting for? Let's go." In the green room, Marcus approached the upperclassmen in charge of the program schedule. Smiling brightly, "Hey there. Really sorry. Could we trouble you to let us change the song?" The upperclassmen immediately looked a bit annoyed. "What's wrong with you guys? You suddenly change performers right before the show. And now you want to change the song too. If every class was like yours, should we even bother holding this freshman welcome party?" "Really sorry." Marcus kept bowing apologetically. "The thing is, the song. Our new substitute isn't very familiar with it. Please let us change it," the upperclassman said coldly. "Where's the substitute? Have him come talk to me himself." Marcus scratched the back of his head. "Our dorm's third bro isn't great at talking. Kind of shy. He's standing right here. Please be understanding." The upperclassman looked at Callahan Reed, her eyes immediately lighting up. "You're saying this guy is the one playing piano?" After hesitating a few seconds, she slowly spoke again. "A Maiden's Prayer. I know this piece too. The music expresses a maiden's hope for beautiful things. This piece, is he playing it for his girlfriend?" Marcus was stunned for a moment, his eyes quickly darting around, and after a few seconds he immediately laughed. "No way, how could that be? Our third bro, from elementary school until now, never mind dating. He's never even held a girl's hand." The upperclassman slowly smiled. "Is that so? I agree to the song change, but I'm also taking a risk with this. In exchange, you have to help me with a small favor." Marcus nodded. "Go ahead. After the party ends, I want his contact info." Marcus gave an okay sign. "No problem." After Marcus returned, Tyler and the others immediately asked curiously, "Is it done?" Marcus smiled smugly. "Of course. When Brother Marcus makes a move, winning over one upperclassman. Isn't that easy? Tyler asked. How'd you pull it off? Marcus pouted. A trade. That girl likes our third bro. In exchange, after the party ends, I have to give her Cal's contact info. Tyler and Leo looked at Callahan Reed in surprise. Oh my God, is that really okay? But Marcus asked, Cal, why did you insist on choosing this piece? I said calmly, because I once promised someone long ago that I'd play it for her at the high school sports festival talent show. But before the talent show even started, I'd already transferred schools. Marcus thought about it. That person is Serena Harper, right? I nodded. That's right. Half an hour quickly passed. Serena and Nathan Song also received the revised program introduction card. Next, please welcome Economics and Management Class 1. Holding the new introduction, Serena was about to announce the performance when she saw the name written on the card, and her whole body suddenly froze in place. Her mind went completely blank in that moment. Nathan Song glanced at Serena. Class President. What's wrong? Serena took a deep breath, shook her head, her voice slightly trembling. Next, please welcome Callahan Reed from Economics and Management Class 1 to bring us the piano piece, A Maiden's Prayer. As soon as she finished speaking, student council staff came up from backstage, and a piano was carried from the side of the stage to one side. The upperclassman in charge backstage immediately walked up to us. All right, Callahan, it's your turn to go on stage. Then she smiled at me, making an encouraging gesture. Good luck. I nodded slightly, then slowly from the backstage green room, step by step up the stairs, walked onto the stage. My eyes looked deeply towards Serena standing. On the other side of the stage, her expression blank. Only then did I quickly walk to the front of everyone, bow slightly, then sat down on the bench beside the piano. The spotlight above the stage shone directly on me and on the large screen behind the stage. The camera angle also captured my profile. The female students below immediately cheered. Girls! Girls! Look quick. The guy on stage is so handsome. Is he also a freshman at our Columbia this year? He's so gorgeous. Oh my God. Within 3 minutes, I need all the information on this man. At this moment, the melodious piano music played by Callahan Reed also slowly reached everyone's ears. On one side of the stage, Nathan Song noticed Serena's emotional shift and quickly asked, Class President, what's wrong? Ever since this freshman named Callahan Reed went on stage, he'd noticed Serena's emotions weren't right. Serena shook her head. It's nothing. Lifting her head slightly, Serena's gaze immediately met mine. Instinctively, Serena's eyes began to avoid mine. I sighed silently to myself, but also slowly withdrew my gaze, starting to focus on playing. Only when the piece ended did I stand up again and walk to center stage, bowing slightly to the audience below. After bowing, I stood to one side of the stage, gave Serena one deep look, then slowly walked off the stage. Serena quickly controlled her emotions, going on stage with Nathan Song to introduce the next performance. When they finished, she looked at Nathan Song and spoke. I have something to do. I need to go backstage for a moment. If I can't make it back in time, you can introduce the next performance by yourself. After saying that, Serena walked in her red high heels, lifting her long dress, quickly chasing after Callahan. Serena had just walked from the stage to the green room. When her right hand was grabbed by me, come outside with me for a second. Serena didn't struggle, her face expressionless, as I pulled her out of the green room to the hallway. As soon as the green room door closed, Serena forcefully yanked her hand away. Freeing herself from my grip, she looked at me coldly. Callahan, have you had enough fun? You disappeared 3 days ago. Now you suddenly show up, even running up on stage to perform. What do you want, dragging me out here? Do you think this is amusing? Or do you want to see how miserable I've been these past few days? My expression was somewhat apologetic. Serena, I don't know how to explain. I couldn't exactly say I'd been in the hospital sleeping for 3 days. You what? Serena laughed coldly. Callahan, I admit I liked you in high school. Even at the start of the semester, when I found out you weren't dead, I was really happy. because I still had feelings for you from back then. That's why I rushed to wait for you at the boys' dorm entrance early in the morning. But that's not an excuse for you to play with me over and over again. The first time you disappeared, I didn't ask you why, but now you've disappeared again for 3 days. What are you doing? Phone calls unanswered, messages ignored. Do you really think because I like you, you can do whatever you want to me? Serena, I really didn't mean to. I hurriedly explained. There's a reason I didn't reply to your messages for 3 days. I really didn't mean to. Besides, I came to Colombia because of you. Give me another chance. I promise. I'll never disappear without reason again. Serena laughed coldly. Is that your explanation? My voice faltered a bit, and I answered, I really ran into some trouble at that time. Then tell me, what exactly was the reason? No matter how busy you were, you couldn't have been too busy to send even one message, right? I sighed. I can't tell you. Serena was completely disappointed. Fine, then don't bother explaining anymore. Callahan, I don't care why you suddenly disappeared 3 years ago, or why you've come to Colombia now. I don't care about any of that anymore. I've thought it through these past 3 days. Whether you reply to messages or not is up to you. Go wherever you want, do whatever you want. From now on, your life has nothing to do with me. That way, I won't have to worry anymore about when you'll quietly leave again. I'm so tired. Callahan, I don't want to like you anymore. By the end, Serena was nearly screaming. This is where it ends between us. We each go our own way, no connection. From now on, let's pretend we never knew each other. As soon as she finished, Serena walked past me. With an expressionless face, quickly pushed open the green room's back door, strode into the green room, drawing the surrounding gazes of everyone inside. Voici, then, Serena walked up to the other side of the stage, a glistening tear. Only then silently fell from her beautiful eyes, but the tear was quickly wiped away. Taking a deep breath, she suppressed the pain in her heart, forcing a smile onto her lips. The expressionless face when she walked past was just her pretending, but the story could only end here. Perhaps only by completely letting go. Would she no longer have to worry about when Callahan would disappear again? Her youth had come to a complete end. I watched Serena's departing figure, wanting to speak up and hold her back, but after pondering for a long time, I silently turned around. On stage, Nathan Song quickly walked up to Serena, asking worriedly, Class President, what's wrong? What happened? Nothing. Serena shook her head expressionlessly, then ignored Nathan Song, her vacant eyes looking toward the others performing on stage. The piano piece I'd just played on stage. She'd recognized it, but a piece that was 3 years late. Hearing it now no longer meant anything. Time flew by quickly, and the freshman welcome party was only 2 hours long. After the final performance ended, Serena and Nathan Song went on stage together to read the closing remarks. But after the closing remarks finished, just as everyone was preparing to leave, perhaps Nathan Song had arranged it beforehand, the spotlight on stage suddenly shone on Nathan Song. Then, a student from the side of the stage immediately brought over a bouquet of roses and placed it in Nathan Song's hands. Seeing this scene on the big screen, the students who were about to leave all sat back down, looking eager to watch the drama unfold. Nathan Song held the microphone in his hand, looking at everyone below the stage, and said, Everyone, please give me a few minutes. I hope you can all witness this moment. Then he raised the bouquet in his hand, presenting it before Serena's eyes, and said calmly, Serena Harper, from the first moment I saw you freshman year, I felt deeply for you. Now I'm confessing to you in front of everyone in our department. I've liked you for a year, and pursued you for a year. I want to understand you. Want to know what the world looks like through your eyes? I don't know when it started, but I realized I can't be apart from you. So today, I hope you can give me a chance to stand by your side openly, to be with you. As soon as he finished, the entire auditorium immediately fell silent. The next second, everyone below began whispering, Oh my God, confessing in front of the whole department. That's so romantic. Romantic? Why do I feel like it's more like moral pressure? No wonder he's been chasing her for a year, and she hasn't paid attention. Isn't this putting her on the spot? Serena Harper is Colombia's #1 beauty, though. But I heard that guy on stage has really been pursuing her for a year, and his family background isn't bad either. Wonder if she'll say yes? Marcus directly cursed. This guy is such a jerk. In front of so many people, she can't say yes or no. Then he looked at me. Cal, say something. Should we go up there and beat him up? I hate this type of guy the most. But before I could speak, Serena had already directly said to Nathan Song, I'm sorry. I know that me accepting your confession is the result you want. But for me, if I want to be with someone, I really have to like them very, very much. But unfortunately, because I can't like you the way you like me, I can't accept. After speaking, Serena's expression gradually turned cold. Also, Nathan Song, I made it very clear to you long ago. I don't like you. So today is the last time. There won't be a next time. Finally, here's some advice for you. If you keep trying to push open a door that won't open, that's not called liking someone. That's called harassment. Serena's voice wasn't loud, but her words still traveled through the microphone in her hand, echoing throughout the auditorium. After she finished, she directly held the microphone and turned to leave without hesitation. Tyler pouted. How pathetic. This guy is really something. She already made it clear she doesn't like him, and he still keeps clinging on. And I breathed a sigh of relief, then said calmly, All right, the party is over. Let's go back to the dorm to shower and change first. Marcus and the others nodded repeatedly. I looked up once more at Serena's departing figure, sighed once, then with determined eyes followed Tyler and everyone else as they left. Love and ideals don't have to conflict. I won't give up that easily. On the main road of campus, Mia stood beside Serena, saying in surprise, Serena, when you rejected Nathan's song just now, you looked so cool. Too bad our girl lost the bet again. Are we really just walking away like that? Or maybe you should be his girlfriend. Serena shot Mia an annoyed look. I just don't like him. He insisted on confessing in front of so many people. What was I supposed to do? Not liking him means not liking him. Even if I'm moved, that's not the same as liking someone. If he could openly confess in front of so many people, then he should have been prepared for rejection. I'm not going to indulge his bad habits. Makes sense, Mia nodded, and continued asking, Then let's talk about something else. Did that freshman Callahan read? Come find you backstage just now. What happened between you two? Serena's expression immediately turned cold. Don't mention him to me. From now on, he and I have no relationship. In my heart, he's been dead since 3 years ago. Oh, okay. Mia hesitated for a few seconds. She could also tell that Serena's emotions were very unstable right now, especially when I was mentioned. She looked like she could kill someone. Then let's talk about something else. After an awkward laugh, Mia raised her phone, holding the screen up to Serena's face. Look at this news online. Our National Science Institute developed 1 nanometer precision lithography technology and even made a 1 nanometer level chip. Who knows, maybe soon. We'll be using our own domestic chips. This time I'm definitely supporting domestic products. Not interested. Serena was in a terrible mood right now, and only glanced casually at Mia's phone screen, then turned her head away. But the next second, she immediately turned back, snatching the phone from Mia's hands. Wait, let me look more closely. With that, Serena stared intently at Mia's phone screen, at a photo from the Science Institute press conference posted on Twitter. She zoomed in and examined it carefully. Mia asked curiously, It's just a press conference photo. What's so interesting about it? Serena was indeed stunned, although the photo only captured Callahan's back. In the position right at the edge of the first row, the clothes he wore, and that silhouette, looked exactly like Callahan. She might mistake other things, but my back, she absolutely couldn't mistake, connecting it to the metal. That looked like a youth league pin that was pinned to my chest earlier. At first she hadn't paid attention, but after seeing this photo of the back, a bold thought immediately appeared in her mind. He disappeared. It wasn't to attend this press conference, was it? You too. I advise you not to interfere in other people's business. Did I see wrong? Serena was a bit confused. How old was Callahan? What connections could he possibly have? To attend a press conference of this level? Everyone who could attend was probably a big shot in the research field. Plus, he was sitting in the very front position. Even more unbelievable. But she absolutely couldn't mistake his back. Was it an illusion? Mia, let's go back to the dorm. Serena couldn't be bothered to think about it anymore. She directly took off her high heels, walking barefoot on the main campus road, quickly running. After getting back to the dorm, Serena searched for the large photo posted by the National Times, examining it carefully for a while, then immediately turned on her computer, quickly searching online. Red background, golden 5-pointed star, with a crossed sickle and hammer in the middle. What kind of medal is this? The search engine quickly searched, and soon various images appeared before Serena. The August 1st Medal, the Independence and Freedom Medal, the Heroes Honor Medal, the Victory Merit, Honor Medal, and many first-class and second-class military merit medals. Among all these various medals, many had shapes, similar to the medal on my chest, but none seemed to match exactly. Mia beside her asked curiously, Serena, what are you searching for online? Serena quickly closed the webpage. Nothing, just looking up some information. I'm done now. Then she asked, Mia, who do you think attends the Science Institute's press conference? Mia thought for a few seconds. Probably some Science Institute academicians, along with senior researchers from the Institute, or some leaders from the National Science and Technology Bureau. Right. Serena slowly nodded, then couldn't help but laugh at herself. What was she even hoping for just now? Hoping that he had to attend the Science Institute's press conference, had some kind of confidentiality agreement. So for 3 days, he couldn't use his phone to message her? How could that be possible? Besides, even if it really was Callahan, what did it have to do with her? She and he were already in the past. On my side, after getting back to the dorm, I took off the suit I was wearing, then carefully removed the doctor's medal from the suit and put it in the desk drawer in the dorm. Then I found a change of clothes and ran into the dorm bathroom to shower. At 10:30 at night, I went with Tyler and everyone to a karaoke place near downtown D.C. The person organizing the event was our class's temporary vice monitor, who directly raised his glass to everyone in the room, smiling. Military training is finally over. Tomorrow's a day off. Tonight, no one goes home until they're drunk. Everyone cheered in unison, laughing. Thanks for paying out of pocket today, Vice Monitor. The temporary Vice Monitor nodded repeatedly. You're all too kind. All right, everyone pick songs, let's have fun. Then everyone who wanted to pick songs picked songs. Those who wanted to sit together drinking and chatting sat together drinking and chatting. The temporary Vice Monitor held his glass and walked over to where we were. He looked me over carefully, then immediately smiled. You must be the classmate who arrived latest, right? Nice to meet you. I nodded slowly. The temporary Vice Monitor immediately raised the glass in his hand. We're classmates from now on. Come on, let me buy you a drink. I shook my head repeatedly. I haven't been feeling well lately. Can't drink. Sorry about that. Tyler raised his glass. Come on, Vice Monitor. Our third bro hasn't been feeling well these past few days. Let me drink with you instead. The temporary Vice Monitor's expression shifted slightly, but he still forced a smile at Tyler. Sure, let's drink then, you and me. After finishing a glass, the temporary Vice Monitor turned and left. I thought for a few seconds, looked at Marcus beside me, and asked, What's this guy's deal? Isn't he being a bit too enthusiastic? What deal could there be? Marcus smiled faintly. You didn't participate in military training, so you don't know. This guy loves showing off. On the first day of freshman orientation, he already nominated himself for temporary Vice Monitor. Today's gathering was also organized by him. He's probably trying to drop the word temporary from his title. When you enter college, it's actually pretty much like a mini-society already. And basically, no one who got into Columbia is stupid. This isn't middle school or high school class monitor. This is class monitor of a class in A. Department at Columbia University. Just the title of class monitor alone. Recorded in your student file. After graduation, the initial path for that person will definitely be smoother than others. The value of this class monitor position isn't low. I see. I understood. Then smiled at Marcus and the others. I'm going to step out to use the restroom. But DC is DC after all. Plus, this was a KTV near the city center. I walked around the entire KTV, but couldn't find the restroom. But right at that moment, in the hallway nearby, a group of men and women suddenly came running out. Seeing this, I instinctively prepared to slip away. What's going on here? Running so fast. There wasn't a fight in the KTV, was there? Following the principle of staying away from trouble, I immediately prepared to leave. But at that moment, several men's shouts suddenly rang in my ears. Stop right there. Don't run. I turned around and immediately saw several men quickly chasing after them. I retreated even faster. But before I could take 2 steps, I was directly grabbed by the collar by one of the pursuing men. Don't move. I immediately stopped and turned to look at the man. Hey, buddy, is there a problem? I'm a police officer. The man snorted coldly, then turned me around by my collar. Come back to the room with me first. We'll take you all to the station later. Why? I felt a bit wronged. I hadn't even found the restroom yet. Why was I being taken to the police station? What crime did I commit? What are you guys doing? I continued to ask. What we're doing. Don't you know in your own heart? The man snorted coldly. Prostitution raid. Oh my God. I couldn't help but curse. Prostitution raid? Why are you arresting me? I didn't do anything wrong. I'm innocent. Everyone we catch says they didn't do anything wrong. The man laughed coldly. If you're innocent, why did you run when you saw us? Stop talking and come back to the room with me first. With that, this man led me to a private room. In the dark room, 7 or 8 men and women were squatting. Afterward, more people who were caught kept being brought in. I continued to explain. Officer, I'm really not from the same room as them. I just came to sing karaoke with friends. If you don't believe me, I can call them to come prove it. One of the men looked at me, then compared me with the others in the room, and slowly nodded. All right, go ahead and call. I secretly rejoiced, quickly took out my phone, and called the dorm group chat, but probably because the KTV was too loud, or everyone was too excited from drinking, no one answered the phone. The man continued to ask, Do you remember your room number? I thought about it. I really didn't go to KTVs much. I'd been dragged in by Tyler, and the others looking completely clueless. Then I scratched the back of my head. I forgot. I never even knew the room number. The man's expression darkened. Then just stay here for now. When we get to the station, if you don't have any problems, of course you can leave. Our station isn't far. At that point, you can just call your friends to pick you up. Call friends to pick me up? My eyes lit up, looking at everyone before me, not sure what I was thinking. At this moment, the room door was pushed open. 2 men dressed in black walked up to the plainclothes officers, casually pulling out their IDs. Officers, we can vouch for him. He's really not from this room, so we need to take this person with us. You are. The lead plainclothes officer casually took the IDs from the 2 men and directly turned on the room lights. After clearly seeing the contents of the IDs, his expression immediately became serious, and he raised his hand in salute. Hello, comrades. These were National Security Bureau IDs. I immediately looked up, directly asking, You're from the National Security Bureau? The 2 National Security Bureau agents first returned the salute, then nodded at me. Mr. Reed, we've been assigned by our superiors to protect your personal safety. This time my gaze immediately became resentful. You 2. Do I know you? I advise you not to interfere in other people's business. Hurry up and take your boyfriends away. The 2 National Security Bureau agents were a bit confused. Not knowing us is fine, but what do you mean don't interfere? Bro, we're here to get you out. At this moment, Tyler from the other room also called. I answered the phone, and Tyler's voice immediately came through. Cal, what did you call me for? I replied, nothing. I had something to deal with midway. You guys have fun. Are you still coming back later? Tyler continued to ask. That depends on the situation. All right, then take care of your stuff first. The whole room was silent, especially the men and women squatting on the ground. Their expressions were extremely dramatic. Bro, what's your deal? Someone comes to get you, and you won't leave. Your roommates call. They could verify your identity, and you still won't leave. What's going on? Do you enjoy drinking tea at the police station that much? At this moment, a guy squatting in the corner stood up. Officer, I can vouch for this kid. He's really not from this room. Let him go. You should mind your own business too. I glanced at that guy, then looked at the lead officer and asked, Officer, if I get taken in later, and you confirm I don't have any problems, I can call someone to pick me up, right? The officer was a bit confused. Yes, you can. Then that's settled. I nodded, asking leisurely, So when do we leave? If it gets any later, the school dorm will probably be closed, and the person coming to get me won't be able to get out. Who else do you want to call to pick you up? The officer was a bit exasperated. The National Security Bureau people have already come forward to vouch for you. Why won't you just leave? Is messing with them that fun? I said unhurriedly. Here's the reason. I was caught in a prostitution raid by the police. Isn't that ready-made? The two National Security Bureau agents twitched at the corners of their mouths. Was this really the national pillar? That their superiors said needed careful protection? That scientific research genius? Was there something wrong with this kid's head? At this moment, I curiously looked at the two National Security Bureau agents, walked up to them, and asked, Are you two going to be following me around all the time? The two National Security Bureau agents looked at each other, and one of them typed out a message on his phone to show me, Because your identity was previously exposed, online, to prevent any foreign organizations from harming you. For the foreseeable future, we'll be by your side protecting you. My expression became slightly more serious. Thank you. You've worked hard. Then, I looked at the police officer and asked, Officer, isn't this KTV a legitimate KTV? Why is the prostitution raid happening here? Mainly because they actually caught people too. One officer explained. We received intel beforehand, saying that while this KTV looks legitimate on the surface, secretly, they also bring in some special staff to serve some big clients' needs. We've been surveilling for several days now. We're only closing the net today. I nodded slightly. Got it. So when do we go to the station? Soon. Very quickly. The police officers finished arresting the relevant people and took all the relevant people, along with me, the voluntary participant, onto the police vehicle together. I naturally had nothing to be interrogated about, with National Security Bureau agents backing me up, and having verified through surveillance footage, I was just caught by mistake. After making a simple statement, I had no more issues. The two National Security Bureau agents also disappeared. They were only responsible for protecting my safety from the shadows. I checked the time on my phone. It was only 11:20. There were still 40 minutes. Until the school dorm's midnight curfew. After thinking for a few seconds, I immediately picked up my phone and sent Serena a message. Serena, save me. When Serena saw my message on the other end, her heart immediately tightened. She first sent a question mark, then continued to ask, What happened to you? I got caught in a police prostitution raid. I need someone to come bail me out. Serena immediately froze, directly sending a message asking, Callahan, are you sick in the head? After sending this message, she immediately couldn't contain her anger. Caught in a police prostitution raid? 3 years ago he was such a pure person. And now he's getting caught in prostitution raids? What exactly had he gone through these past 3 years? The next second, she directly sent a 60-second voice message. Extremely high profanity content. I directly chose not to listen to this voice message. Then Serena sent another message asking, Can't the other people in your dorm come get you? Does it have to be me? What are we to each other anyway? They're not answering their phones. Don't know what they're doing. For the sake of our past feelings, please come get me. You wouldn't just watch me die without helping, would you? I was caught by mistake. I just need someone to come sign and pick me up. Serena was immediately speechless, but after hesitating for a few seconds with a complicated expression, she still replied with one message. Wait there. She'd been busy hosting the program, tired all evening. She didn't want to run around everywhere, but who told him to be Callahan? Half an hour later, Serena arrived at the police station, where I was being held. What's has? Is there something I can help you with? The duty officer at the front desk asked. Serena said somewhat helplessly, May I ask, is there someone named Callahan Reed being held here? I'm here to bail him out. Are you his girlfriend? The duty officer immediately smiled. Did you have a fight with your boyfriend? Hurry and take your boyfriend away. He's not my boyfriend. Serena's expression turned cold, but she asked somewhat curiously, What do you mean, hurry and take him away? The duty officer immediately laughed. Your boyfriend's situation has spread throughout our entire station. He was probably with some dorm mates, singing karaoke at the KTV, and just happened to be there when our officers were on a mission, got caught by mistake. Even though his innocence was proven at the KTV, he still insisted on following our officers on duty back to the police station, said he had to wait for a friend to pick him up. After saying this, the duty officer laughed again. There's nothing couples can't get through. Take him home and teach him a lesson. Couples fight at the head of the bed and make up at the foot. I can see your boyfriend really tried hard to see you. I've been a police officer for many years, and this is the first time I've seen someone voluntarily come to the station, just to see his girlfriend. Serena immediately smiled awkwardly. Yes, I'm really sorry for the trouble. Then, under the duty officer's guidance, Serena quickly found me sitting and waiting in the rest area. After the duty officer left, her face immediately turned cold, striding toward me. You dared trick me? Callahan, you're dead. Rushing up to me, Serena immediately said coldly, Callahan, is there something wrong with your head? Didn't I already say? We each mind our own business from now on. Do you not understand what that means? I've seen people with bound feet, but never bound brains. Having me run all this way just to yell at you? This is real, completely unnecessary. You came to the police station just for this? Why didn't you have the officers actually lock you up for a few days to cool off? I lifted my head slightly. But even if I really got locked up by the police, it's still better than you really never wanting to see me again. Serena immediately froze. Have you ever seen a guy over 6 feet tall, with a pitiful expression on his face? Especially when combined with my high-damage face. Are you acting cute with me? Serena's expression immediately became serious. Don't pretend to be pitiful. Stand up right now. Do you believe me? I'll slap you so hard your health insurance runs out. I refused to back down, lifting my head. I'd had my rabies shot. You think I'm scared of you? Serena almost burst out laughing. Right. Someone who isn't even afraid of going to the police station? What else could they be afraid of? If you're so tough, don't text me to come pick you up. I shrank back. Not tough, feeling wronged. Serious, yet timid. Serena was helpless, rubbing her forehead. Let's go. Do you want to stay here overnight? I silently stood up, standing beside Serena like a little housewife. Only after leaving the police station did Serena stand in front of me, looking up at me and asking, Let's talk. Okay. I nodded slightly. Way. Then, my stomach growled loudly. Hungry? Yeah. Then let's grab something to eat while we're at it. The two of us walked down the road in silence, stopping and starting, until finally, at an intersection on a street, we found a barbecue place. After casually ordering some food at the restaurant, Serena asked the owner to bring 2 bottles of chilled beer, using a bottle opener to pop them open. She immediately poured herself a glass, then poured one for me. Raising her glass, she looked at me and said, Let's have a drink first. I looked at the glass of beer before me, remembering when I was discharged from the hospital that afternoon, the doctor's instructions. You must eat light food these next few days. No smoking or drinking, understood? But the next second, I nodded without hesitation, picked up the glass in front of me, clinked glasses with Serena, and drank all the beer in my glass. The refreshing coolness that went straight to the heart immediately gave me goosebumps all over, but the next second, the corner of my eye secretly glanced toward Serena across from me. Serena immediately reacted. "What are you looking at me for?" I shrank back again. "Nothing." "Then why are you still looking?" Unable to help it, Serena immediately softened and said nothing more, setting down the glass in her hand. She lifted her head and looked at me. "All right. Talk. You went through all this trouble to call me out. What exactly for?" I looked at Serena's stiff tone and asked, "Can your attitude be a little less cold?" "No." "Fine, then," I pouted disappointedly, then lifted my head and continued looking at Serena. "I called you out, just to properly apologize to you. 3 years ago, I really had a very special reason for leaving without saying goodbye. 3 days ago, something unexpected also happened, which is why I didn't message you. I'm sorry. I made you worry." "Oh, so you do know how to apologize." Serena felt like the world was turning upside down. Couldn't help but laugh coldly. "When you left without saying goodbye 3 years ago, why didn't you think about how in the future you'd have to apologize to me for this? As for what happened 3 days ago, I'm not angry anymore. You don't need to apologize to me." I stubbornly shook my head. "Look at yourself right now, and you'll know. You're still angry at me about what happened 3 days ago." "I'm not," Serena said firmly. "You are." I said I'm not, so I'm not. "Fine then." I nodded weakly. "If you say you're not, then you're not." Then I silently muttered to myself, "Damn, even at the research base, I wasn't this frustrated. What's going on now? Haven't seen this girl in 3 years. Her temper has clearly gotten worse." Serena lifted her head and stared at me. "You're cursing me in your head, aren't you?" "How did you—" I immediately looked up, then quickly recovered, shaking my head. No. How could I possibly have such bold thoughts?" "And you say you're not?" Serena pouted. "Looking at your guilty expression, I know you're definitely secretly cursing me in your head." I stubbornly lifted my head again. "Well, you were the one who said I was dead before." Serena was speechless. "So you called me out to argue with you?" No. I quickly shook my head. "It's a very sincere apology." "What kind of apology?" "How about I write 1,000-word self-criticism?" Serena shook her head. "Not sincere enough." 1,500 words? Not enough. 3,000 words? Not sincere enough. Then 2,000 words? "Callahan, are you bargaining with me?" Serena immediately looked up and shot me a glare. "Then you tell me. What do I have to do for you to forgive me?" Serena thought for a few seconds. "This is very simple. Either you honestly tell me what exactly you were doing these past 3 years, and why you suddenly stopped replying to messages 3 days ago. You tell me these things, I'll forgive you immediately. We can even still be friends afterward. Otherwise, don't even bother being friends." After saying this, she looked at me expectantly. "Tell me. I've already given you a way out. As long as you tell me. Even if you lie to me. That's fine. Maybe I'll forgive you." I pondered for a few seconds. Why do you have to keep holding on to what happened 3 years ago? Can't I? No. Then there's nothing to talk about. Wait, there is. My forehead was slightly sweating. No wonder women are so hard to appease. I'd rather go back to the research base and research the warp drive engine, or even casually solve one of the 7 millennium problems in mathematics. That would be simpler than appeasing a woman. Then why can't you tell me? Because I don't want to use this to gain your sympathy. I took a deep breath, and my award-winning acting skills immediately kicked in. 3 years ago, I got sick, so my whole family moved to D.C. just to get treatment. What illness? Leukemia. I gritted my teeth. Leukemia. Serena froze. A moment later, her eyes reddened. Then why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you message me? Running away alone, self-righteously leaving, hiding away to suffer alone. Did you think that was cool? Do you know how worried I've been about you these 3 years? By the last sentence, Serena was nearly screaming. My heart suddenly trembled, and I slowly raised my hand, somewhat hesitant, but in the end, I still gently held Serena's hand. "Serena, I'm sorry." It wasn't that I didn't want to tell Serena the truth, but ever since I developed the 1 nanometer lithography technology, I knew that I was destined to live my life in anonymity, quietly unknown. I felt guilty toward Serena, but dedicating myself to my country, I had no regrets. Serena quickly controlled her emotions, took a tissue from the table to wipe her tears, and her voice gradually turned cold again. Don't say sorry to me. I just really don't understand. If you were just going for treatment, why couldn't you tell me? But thinking about him having leukemia, her voice couldn't help but tremble again. Even if it's leukemia, with the current level of medical care in this country, it's not necessarily incurable. But I was scared. I let out a cold breath. I was afraid that at any moment, I might die on the operating table. I was also afraid this disease could never be cured. By the end, I sighed. I was even more afraid of not being able to give you a definite promise. 3 years ago, even though I had obtained the eternal knowledge repository, I didn't know where my future lay, and I couldn't give Serena a definite promise. Not knowing my prospects, not knowing when I'd return, if I couldn't be by her side for the long term, why should I hold her back? Serena looked at me with heartache. Then how did you live these past 3 years? Looking at your photos. I smiled. Looking at every photo you posted on social media. Seeing if you did well on your exams. Seeing if you took your medicine properly when you had a cold. Watching you grow from 16 to 19 now. During those 3 years, besides the dry and boring research work, looking at Serena's social media was my greatest joy every day. And not replying to messages 3 days ago. Serena continued to ask. During military training, I went to the hospital for my final surgery. The anesthesia was too strong, and I slept for 3 whole days. I said calmly, but fortunately, if there's no relapse after 25, then I'll be fine. This was also a promise to Serena. Before I turned 25, I had to bring America's national defense capabilities to the #1 position in the world. When that day truly came, I would definitely stand openly before Serena, bathed in sunlight, and proudly tell her the boy she liked in her youth was actually a very extraordinary man. There definitely won't be a relapse. Serena's gaze was determined, and her voice gradually became cheerful. All right, let's stop talking about this. The barbecue should be coming out soon. Get ready for our late-night snack. So does that count as you forgiving me? No. Then what else do you want me to do? You're paying for tonight's late-night snack. After finishing our late-night snack, I paid the bill, then led Serena out of the barbecue place. Where are we going now? I looked at Serena and asked. Serena slowly nodded. A hotel. What? I hesitated for a few seconds. Isn't that a bit too fast? Maybe wait a little longer? Serena immediately glared. Don't get any weird ideas. It's so late that the dorms closed a long time ago. Did you think you could still get back? When I said hotel, I meant getting 2 separate rooms. You didn't expect me to sleep on the street with you, did you? That works too. I nodded silently. Just then, a gentle breeze blew by. At this hour, it was probably almost dawn. The cool wind swept past, so cold that Serena immediately shivered, quickly raising her hands to her mouth to blow on them. Are you a little cold? I walked up beside Serena, reaching out to hold her hand. Serena immediately dodged to the side. Hey, what are you doing? I see you as a friend, and you want to take advantage of me. I awkwardly scratched the back of my head. I saw your hands were cold, just wanted to warm them up for you. Men and women should keep proper distance. Serena's cheeks flushed slightly. But aren't I your ex-boyfriend? That's just how I explain it to outsiders. Fine then. I was a little disappointed, but right at that moment, Serena suddenly extended her hand in front of me. Warm them. I suddenly smiled. Didn't you say men and women should keep proper distance? Warm them or don't, your choice. Serena was about to pull her hand back, but the next second, I quickly grabbed her hand. Finally, we walked together through the doors of a hotel. Please give us 2 rooms. At the hotel front desk, a male staff member looked at the 2 people still holding hands, slightly stunned, then said awkwardly, Currently, our hotel only has a luxury couples suite with a double bed left. Room rate is 400, deposit is 200. Do you want it? Well, I hesitated for a few seconds, looking at Serena and asking, should we try another hotel? Serena searched on her phone, saw that all the surrounding hotels were fully booked, and asked, is there a sofa in the room? Yes. The man nodded slightly. Serena nodded. Then we'll take one room. Then she turned to explain to me, within a mile, there's no hotel with available rooms. Let's just get one room. Tonight you sleep on the sofa. I'll sleep on the bed. Okay. Very quickly, since neither of us had our physical IDs, we registered using the digital ID on our phones, and the hotel receptionist completed the room check-in for us. As soon as we stepped into the room, we saw in the middle of the room, on the large bed with pure white sheets, rose petals arranged in the shape of a heart. Seeing this, Serena's cheeks immediately flushed red. I was also stunned, then somewhat awkwardly looked up, and asked Serena, should I clean this up? Yeah, I'll use the bathroom first. Serena quickly nodded, then flustered, ran into the bathroom. She quickly turned on the faucet, splashed cold water on her face several times, then looked at herself in the mirror to pump herself up. Serena Harper, you have to hold it together. After Serena came out, I had nearly swept all the rose petals on the bed into the trash can beside it. Hey, do you want to shower before bed? I asked somewhat hastily. To be honest, this was my first time getting a hotel room with a girl. I already showered before coming out. Serena quickly answered, then asked back, what about you? I showered too. I answered awkwardly. Then let's just go to sleep. Serena took a deep breath, then sat on the bed in the room, took a pillow from the bed, and tossed it onto the sofa, saying to me, tonight, you'll have to rough it and sleep on the sofa for one night. Sure, no problem. I nodded slightly, then directly lay down on the sofa. But right at that moment, from the floor above our room, strange sounds suddenly started coming through. Hearing this, both our expressions immediately froze. In the awkwardness, I quickly waved my hand. Let's turn off the lights and sleep. Serena nodded, not even taking off her clothes, directly got under the covers, and turned off all the lights in the room. Finally, after about 20 minutes, the sounds from upstairs gradually faded. The moon hung high outside the window. Serena suddenly opened her eyes, secretly glancing toward me, asking, Callahan, are you asleep? My voice trembled slightly. Not yet. It's summer right now, and the central AC in the room is set pretty cold. I feel like I'm about to shiver. Serena thought for a few seconds. What's wrong with your voice? Are you a little cold? After hesitating for a few more seconds, she said calmly, why don't you come up here and sleep? But the middle is the 38 parallel, and neither of us can cross it. My eyes immediately lit up. When you say that, I'm suddenly not sleepy at all anymore. Perhaps afraid I'd misunderstand. Serena continued. Callahan, I just don't want you to catch a cold. Don't get any weird ideas, and definitely don't do anything inappropriate. But before Serena could finish her sentence, I had already leapt from the sofa onto the bed. In the late-night space, two pairs of trembling eyes slowly looked into each other. Seeing me whoosh into the blanket, Serena's eyelashes immediately trembled slightly. You're not allowed to do anything inappropriate. Absolutely. Won't do anything. I nodded firmly. But the next second, Serena exclaimed, Oh my God, didn't you say you wouldn't do anything inappropriate? Why are you holding my hand? I'm afraid of the dark. Serena Harper, if you believe his smooth talk tonight, then there really must be ghosts. But she still held my slightly cold hand tightly, humming softly. Just hold it like this. Don't do anything else inappropriate. I nodded. A moment later, the room slowly became quiet again, with only the sound of two people breathing evenly. Half an hour later, I suddenly opened my eyes again. This was ridiculous. I'd rather have slept on the sofa. The bed was warm, but I absolutely couldn't fall asleep. I secretly cracked my eyes open, looking at Serena beside me, seeing her breathing evenly, apparently already asleep. So I followed suit and drifted off to sleep. Actually, Serena still wasn't asleep. Her eyes sparkled as she looked at me for a while, and when she noticed I seemed to be sound asleep, her anxious heart finally gradually settled. her whole body slowly relaxing. But the next second, she glared at me in confusion. A gorgeous beauty like me is lying right next to you, and you can actually just sleep like that? Are you even a man? So as they say, girls are forever the most adorable, yet most complicated creatures in the universe. For example, right now, not wanting him to do anything inappropriate, yet also not wanting him to do nothing. The next day, close to noon, the sunlight outside the window streamed through, onto the blanket in the room. Serena's phone suddenly rang. "Who is it?" Serena irritably reached, her hand searching beside her pillow. Opening her eyes slightly, seeing it was a call from Mia, she immediately swiped to answer. Mia's gossipy voice quickly came through the phone. "Serena, what's going on with you? It's almost noon, and you're still not back at school. This is the first time in a year of college that Serena Harper hasn't returned to the dorm overnight. It's noon already?" Serena was still a bit groggy from sleep, but then the expression on her face immediately froze. Why did she feel like there was something heavy pressing on her body, especially on her chest? The next second, "Ah, Callahan, get off me right now," Serena screamed. "Callahan what? Which Callahan?" Mia on the phone was immediately shocked. "Serena, you didn't come back to the dorm last night. Did you get a hotel room with him?" "Mia, I've got something going on here. I'll explain later, okay?" Serena quickly explained, then directly hung up the phone. At this point, I was awakened, and slowly opened my eyes too, feeling that my palm seemed to be resting on somewhere very soft. I instinctively squeezed it. "You're still doing inappropriate things." Serena's face flushed red with embarrassment. I sat up in confusion, rubbing my still sleepy eyes, and immediately asked, "Serena, what's wrong?" But the next second, my eyes that had just opened saw a hand coming from far to near, finally slapping hard across my face. Serena was both embarrassed and furious. "And you dare ask me what's wrong?" I felt somewhat wronged. Why was I getting slapped as soon as I woke up? I didn't do anything inappropriate last night. Serena's face was so red it looked like it might drip water. "Your hand just now was on my—" By the end, she really couldn't say it. I was immediately fully awake, hurriedly explaining, "That, I didn't mean to." "Just stop talking." Serena quickly scrambled up from the bed, glaring at me. "You're never allowed to mention this again, and you definitely can't let anyone else know." I nodded repeatedly. Got it. Then the next second, I drew in a cold breath, quickly rubbing my cheek. I had to say, that slap from Serena really packed some force. "Are you okay?" Serena came back over to me with concern, quickly reaching out to rub it for me, but instead grabbed my hand that was rubbing my face. In that instant, a feeling like an electric shock immediately appeared in both their hands. Serena quickly pulled her hand back, her gaze not daring to meet mine. I'll get up first." Then she quickly scrambled up from the bed, quickly running into the bathroom, and only after seeing Serena run away did I draw in another cold breath, quickly rubbing my cheek. My God, that slap was brutal. Then I quickly picked up my phone and opened the phone camera to take a look. A bright red handprint slowly appeared. The corner of my mouth immediately twitched. My face is ruined. Oh my God. How am I supposed to go out and face people now? Then I also quickly scrambled up from the bed, hearing the sound of water running from the sink in the bathroom. I knocked on the frosted glass door of the bathroom. Serena immediately opened the glass door. The flush on her face had subsided considerably, but her eyes looking at me still showed some avoidance. She asked, "Is something wrong?" I pointed to the side of my cheek that now clearly showed a handprint directly blocking the bathroom doorway. "My face is this red now. Aren't you going to take responsibility?" Serena was stunned. Seeing the handprint on my face, that perfectly matched her hand, she immediately couldn't help but laugh. "Sorry, didn't mean to." I was planning to hold back, but I really couldn't. The shape of this handprint was really too funny. The corner of my mouth twitched. Then I continued to step forward. "Also, you already slept with me last night. Shouldn't you take responsibility?" "What do you mean I slept with you?" Serena immediately widened her eyes. "Last night I didn't move a muscle. And you call that sleeping together?" But then she smiled mischievously. Slept together. So what? We were completely innocent. Didn't do anything. What responsibility is there to take? She looked up at me again. Besides, you're a freshman now, and I'm a sophomore. Call me Big Sis Student. Call you Big Sis Student? I was stunned. My expression immediately became strange. A man and woman sharing a room like this. Calling her Big Sis Student seemed a bit too exciting, didn't it? A moment later, I was suddenly inspired, directly walking step by step toward Serena, cornering her against the sink. I lowered my head. Big Sis Student, do you know that your behavior right now makes people really want to commit a crime? Serena froze for a second. Seeing me continuously getting closer, her body instinctively backed away. Finally realizing there was truly nowhere left to retreat, she stubbornly lifted her head. Her eyes panicked, but she tried to pretend to be calm. What are you doing? Serena was nearly 5'9", but before my height of over 6 feet, she still had to helplessly look up. I directly lowered my head, facing her bright eyes. In this situation, Serena's small, stubborn expression seemed even more adorable. Finally, I directly leaned in close to Serena's ear, gently breathing out warm air. 3 years, guaranteed profit, worth dying for. Don't you dare do anything inappropriate. Serena tried to back up a little more, but I pressed in too close, so close that she could even smell my distinctive scent. He was definitely doing this on purpose. I smiled wickedly, slowly continuing to press toward Serena. What if I insist on doing something inappropriate? You scoundrel. Serena immediately tensed up and closed her eyes, her heart beating faster. No way, no way! He wasn't planning to kiss her, was he? If he kissed her, should she resist or what? Finally, she held her breath tensely. Whatever. A kiss is just a kiss. At least she wouldn't die from it. But she was also a little scared. What if after he kissed her, he wanted to do more? What should she do then? Should she agree or not? But the next second, I suddenly laughed, reaching out to gently flick her forehead. Silly, if I really wanted to do something inappropriate, do you think you could still be standing before me in one piece? Huh? Serena slowly opened her eyes. Standing before him in one piece? What did that mean? But the next second, her cheeks immediately flushed red, silently cursing in her heart-rotten scoundrel. I walked around Serena, opened the toiletry kit on the sink beside her, took out a toothbrush, squeezed out toothpaste, and casually grabbed the rinse cup nearby to fill with water. After preparing all of this, I brought the toothbrush to Serena's face. Brush your teeth first. After you brush, I'll take you to lunch. After eating, we'll head back to campus together. Serena reacted half a beat late, nodding. Taking the toothbrush from my hand, she quietly began brushing her teeth. I continued, but before we eat, you still need to help me with something. Serena was stunned again. What else do you want? Go down to the convenience store downstairs and buy me a mask. This handprint. I'm guessing it won't fade for several more hours. Without a mask, how am I supposed to go out and face people? Ha ha ha. Fair point. Serena couldn't help but laugh. In a bit, I'll definitely buy you a mask. That's both handsome and beautiful. To put on you. I helplessly glanced at Serena, then affectionately ruffled her hair. All right, go brush your teeth. With that, I turned and left the bathroom. Serena stood frozen in place. Just now he ruffled her hair. But a moment later, she became angry again, pouting. After all that, that's it? That's all? I was ready to let you kiss me if you wanted to. Just one kiss. And you didn't do anything. What a waste of emotion. Are you even a man? Serena immediately gritted her teeth and slammed the rinse cup onto the sink, brushing her teeth alone in frustration. After Serena finished brushing and came out, seeing her frustrated expression, I immediately wondered, what's wrong with you? Such a sour face? Who upset you? Weren't you fine just a second ago? Nothing. Serena pouted, then grabbed her phone, and turned to walk out of the room. Where are you going? To buy you a mask. Dummy! After Serena came back, I had also finished washing my face. Seeing Serena holding 2 masks in her hands, I immediately wondered, Why did you buy 2 masks? Isn't one enough? Because I wanted to, Serena pouted, putting a black mask on herself, then bringing the other black mask up to my face. Put it on. It should more or less cover the handprint. I looked deeply at Serena, took the mask and put it on, then asked, "What do you want to eat for lunch?" "Whatever." "No, whatever. You decide." "Then guess what I'm planning to take you to eat." "Hot pot?" "You guessed it. Outside the hotel entrance, after Serena and I left the hotel, Serena and I simply found a hot pot restaurant, had a hot pot meal, then the 2 of us waited for a bus, preparing to take it back to campus. Getting on the bus, Serena immediately sat in the window seat. I very naturally sat down beside her, then took out my phone, casually pulling from my pocket a pair of wired earphones. Plugging the earphones into my phone, I brought one earbud up to Serena. "Want to listen to music?" "Sure," Serena nodded. Then before she could react, I had already taken the earbud, slowly stood up from my seat, walked around to stand in front of Serena, and with a serious expression, placed the earbud in her left ear. Seeing me so close right before her eyes, Serena's heartbeat involuntarily sped up again. Why are you getting so close to me?" "Just putting the earbud in for you." I smiled. "Why not the right ear?" "Because I'm holding the left one." I smiled mischievously, slowly finished putting in the earbud for Serena, then returned to sit in my seat, looking innocent. "If you think the left ear doesn't work, should I switch it?" "No need." Serena directly glared. "On purpose. He was definitely doing it on purpose." After sitting quietly on the bus for a few seconds, I asked again, "The Mid-Autumn Festival is in a few days. Are you going home for the holiday?" Serena shook her head. "Not going back. It's only a 3-day break. Going back and forth is too troublesome." After saying this, Serena sighed. "What a shame. Since starting college, this will be the 2nd Mid-Autumn Festival I haven't gone home. I really want to go back and see. The fireworks festival at Champions Island back home?" In her hometown, there was a scenic spot, a large river where, because of swirling currents in the middle, sand and rocks accumulated, gradually forming a small island. Then it became a tourist destination. Every holiday, especially major holidays like Mid-Autumn Festival, after getting approval, the administrative office of Champions Island Scenic Area would organize a fireworks festival on the island. It's just that after coming to D.C., where fireworks were banned, she hadn't seen fireworks in a very long time. "Really want to see them?" I asked, tilting my head. Come to think of it, ever since joining the Science Institute and leaving our hometown, I also hadn't seen the fireworks at Champions Island in a very long time. "Just a little," Serena answered casually, "but that's just wishful thinking. DC doesn't allow fireworks." I smiled mysteriously. "Not necessarily." "How would you know?" "Then let's make a bet." "What do you want to bet?" I smiled mischievously. "If there are fireworks on Mid-Autumn night, you give me a kiss deal? Want to bet?" "What if there aren't?" "If there aren't, then I give you a kiss. That way you don't lose out either." "Is that okay?" Serena directly glared. "Only a fool would bet with you." After returning to campus, I went with Serena to get food for her roommates, then walked her back to the dorm. When I got back to my dorm, Tyler and the others still hadn't returned. Obviously, they had also gotten a room outside last night. On the other side, at the girls' dorm, since Serena and her roommates didn't have class this morning, they hadn't gone to the lecture hall. Mia was resting, while the other 2 roommates had gone to the campus library to study. As for Serena, she was watching stock charts. This was also one of the reasons she was well liked by some professors at Columbia. She had extremely sharp instincts in the finance field. Just in her freshman year, she had turned the $200,000 her family gave her into $300,000, a return rate of nearly 150%. But right at that moment, next to the computer screen she was logged into, an email notification suddenly appeared. Seeing this email, Serena first froze, then quickly moved her mouse to click on it. This was an email from Columbia University's main campus. No way, is this real or fake? Serena quickly skimmed through, the contents of the email, then immediately screamed with joy in the dorm. Oh my God, is this real or fake? Professor Zhang wants to take me on as a direct master's PhD student. The Professor Zhang, she mentioned, was a famous finance professor at Columbia, also one of the few authoritative professors in the domestic economics field who had even participated in drafting laws related to the economics field. Originally, she had been thinking about taking this professor's graduate exam. She never expected to be exempt from the exam and directly admitted into the combined master's PhD program. As long as she finished her undergraduate degree, she could immediately go study for her master's PhD under the professor. Then she directly pulled out her phone, quickly sending me a message. Callahan, Professor Carolyn Zhang from my department, wants to take me on as a direct master's PhD student. She's an authoritative professor in the domestic economics field. Mia also ran over, looking at Serena in surprise. Serena, the Professor Zhang you mentioned, isn't that the elderly economics professor who talked to you before and said she'd welcome you to take her graduate exam? In their business and management school, as long as you were a student studying economics-related majors, basically everyone knew the name of this elderly professor. Yes. Serena nodded emphatically, then smiled happily. Hurry and call the other two back. Lunch is on me today. Everyone's going out to eat. Once she became Professor Zhang's student, not to mention anything else. In the future, as long as she worked in finance or economics, even if it was a top company in the country, as long as she came to work there, they would more or less have to show some respect. Seeing that I still hadn't replied to the message, Serena sent another one. What are you doing? Seeing the message, I smiled. What, after just one day apart? You already miss me? No way, Serena immediately replied. I smiled. Then, to celebrate the good news, you should treat me to a meal at lunch, right? Shouldn't you be treating me? Serena in the dorm didn't know whether to laugh or cry, then sent another message. But I'm not free at lunch. I was stunned. That busy? You don't even have time for a meal? Serena replied again. At lunch today, I have to treat my roommates to a meal. Tonight works. In the evening, the sunset gradually descended across the sky, dyeing the horizon a brilliant red. I stood quietly beneath Serena's dormitory. After waiting for a while, Serena, wearing a long white dress, came skipping down the dormitory steps. Finally, she stood steady in front of me, smiling as she asked, Been waiting long? I shook my head. No, I just got here too. Then I smiled and asked, Have you decided what you want to eat tonight? Serena wrinkled her cute little nose. Let's go to the cafeteria. I heard that cafeteria number 2 just opened a really good spicy dry hot pot place. I haven't tried it yet. No problem. I nodded slightly, then led Serena toward the school's second cafeteria. Serena just quietly walked beside me like that. Looking at my handsome profile, her heart immediately started beating erratically again. Should she tell him? When she received the news at noon, she was really too happy. Walking down the road, she nearly tripped while skipping. On the way, she ran into the school's ugly stray cat, and during advanced math class while doing exercises, she suddenly burst out laughing in the middle of working, got glared at several times by that old-fashioned professor. But standing beside me, she suddenly felt like the evening breeze today was also several degrees gentler. At that moment, I suddenly turned my head, giving Serena a mischievous look. You've been secretly watching me for so long. Seen enough yet? Watching what? Serena's cheeks immediately flushed. It's over. He caught her. Then she quickly shook her head. Watching what? I wasn't looking at you. Do you have to be so narcissistic? I said nothing, only my gaze mischievously watched Serena for a long while. Finally, Serena couldn't take it anymore. Her face red with tension, she asked, Why do you keep looking at me? Because you're beautiful. I looked so long I became dazed. Serena frowned. Dude, do you have to talk like that? I can barely handle it. Glancing at me, Serena quickly ran ahead. Can't be bothered with you. Hurry up. Let's go eat. The next day, Mid-Autumn Festival, 8 in the evening in the girls' dorm. Mia was boredly scrolling through short videos on her phone, then suddenly looked up at Serena. Serena! I'm so bored. How about we all go out for a walk tonight? But before Serena could speak, another girl in the dorm laughed. What's the point of going for a walk? Don't you know? All holidays have now become days for couples to show off their love? Go out late at night to eat dog food? The other one also nodded repeatedly. Exactly. Not going. Out of sight, out of mind. Serena sighed. What if I want to go? Why do you seem unhappy? Homesick? Mia asked with slight surprise. No, Serena pouted, then lowered her head to look at her phone. Since early this morning, he had only sent her one good morning message. He didn't even send a happy mid-autumn greeting. Even now, she didn't know what he was doing. Rotten man. Can't you send me a message? Over at the laboratory, I wiped the sweat beading on my forehead, then looked up, at the dense row of palm-sized drones before me. Each drone was equipped with colorful LED lights. After wiping away the sweat, I spoke to Genesis. Genesis, check the connectivity of these devices. Yes, boss. The next second, the LED lights on the drones before me lit up one by one in sequence. Seeing this, I nodded with satisfaction. Good. Genesis, activate the fireworks program. Location, school stadium. Then, the small drones that had been quietly lying on the ground took off one by one from the laboratory floor, under Genesis's control, passing through the laboratory window, forming a long line. They quickly flew toward the school stadium. Meanwhile, I picked up my phone, quickly video calling Serena. The call was answered immediately, and Serena's clear voice came through. Hello, Callahan. Is something wrong? I smiled. Go out to your dorm balcony and look. The balcony? Serena was stunned, not messaging her all day, and now telling her to go to the balcony. What for? But afterward, she still held her phone and walked out to the dorm balcony. The position of their dorm balcony happened to have a full view of the stadium. I asked, There yet? Serena nodded. Look up at the sky. Look at the sky. Serena was a bit confused, but the next second, her whole body froze in place. On the stadium, exactly 500 small black drones, gathered together as one mass, then all at once, began rapidly ascending into the sky, until all the drones disappeared into the night. First, a small light appeared at the center, then the drone lights filling the sky, like countless stars, quickly spread outward, just like a firework blooming. Moreover, these fireworks kept arranging and combining in the sky, transforming into new firework shapes. Did you make all of this? I sighed. Yeah, worked on it all day. I really hadn't expected these 500 drones to be this difficult to make. Serena suddenly smiled. Wait a moment. Let me make a wish first. What do you want to wish for? You guess. I smiled. Can't guess. You couldn't be wishing for me to live 100 years, could you? Then what if my wish really does include you? I froze. Then Serena calmly said to me through the phone, Callahan, let's meet up. Right now. I still hadn't recovered from that sentence, from Serena, dazed for a long while, before stiffly answering, Okay, where? Right at the stadium. Mia and the others also ran out from the dorm. Oh my God! This drone fireworks light show is so beautiful. If anyone put on a fireworks show like this for me, I'd definitely marry him. Which rich campus hottie is wooing his sweetheart now? This is really too enviable. Oh my God, so romantic. Then, they saw Serena preparing to leave. Mia turned to ask, Serena, where are you going? Out. Serena didn't explain much, quickly leaving the dorm. On the other side, I also quickly arrived at the stadium. The streetlights on both sides of the stadium track were still on. On the grass sat all kinds of couples. There were also male and female dorms socializing, playing around on the stadium, along with performances from the school music club. It looked extremely lively. And at the meeting spot with Serena, I found Serena waiting for me. Then I quickly ran up to Serena. Worry, been waiting long? Not long. I just got here too. Serena shook her head, then casually sat down, on an empty spot on the stadium, smiling brightly and waving at me. Sit here. I slowly sat down beside Serena. A gentle breeze blew by, and I could even smell the faint fragrance from Serena. Serena smiled radiantly. Close your eyes first. About to fulfill the bet? I smiled. You close your eyes first. Serena immediately cried out shyly. I smiled and closed my eyes. Serena hesitated for a few seconds, then quickly leaned in close to my face, giving a light kiss like a dragonfly skimming water on my cheek. The next second, I suddenly opened my eyes. Serena felt a bit guilty. Don't get any weird ideas. This was just to fulfill the bet. From that day on the bus, it doesn't mean anything else. I smiled. Was it really just fulfilling the bet? What else do you want? Serena pouted proudly. I directly reached out, pulling Serena, who was sitting beside me, into my arms. Under the dim lights, our gazes quickly met each other's. Serena tensed up. What? What are you trying to do? Do you know a saying? My gaze on Serena gradually grew heated. What goes around comes around. Serena's heart suddenly tightened, beating erratically. So I like you, so you have to kiss me? The next second, before Serena could react, I had directly covered her lips. Serena's mind went completely blank. Oh my God! This guy doesn't play fair, attacking by surprise. A long while later, Serena finally escaped from my arms, her face flushed red, shyly glaring at me. You scoundrel! If a man isn't a scoundrel, women won't love him. I shrugged, then smiled at Serena. Hey, did you hear what I just said? Which part? Serena started playing dumb. I like you. I didn't hear it. Serena smiled. Say it again. I like you. Serena smiled. How come I didn't know? How long have you liked me? I reached out again to hold Serena in my arms, saying softly, I'm not really sure either. Just one glance, and it lasted 10,000 years. So does this count as you confessing? Serena naturally leaned into my arms, then wrinkled her cute little nose. I feel like if I agree to you like this, I'm at a bit of a disadvantage. So say a few more sweet things to coax me. Maybe I'll be happy and agree. What do you want to hear? Whatever you say, I'll listen. I thought for a few seconds, looked up at the stars twinkling endlessly in the sky, and said calmly, You probably know, right? The universe was formed from the Big Bang. Serena nodded. Yeah, I know. So? Every atom in your body came from stars that exploded. The atoms that make up your left hand might come from a different star than your right hand. The atoms that make up your hair might also come from hundreds of millions of different stars. Serena tilted her head slightly. So? You are all my stars. The third day, at noon after class ended, I pulled out my phone, checked the time. It was already almost 12 noon. I opened my friends list again and saw that 2 hours ago, Serena had posted a photo on social media. Her roommate was leaning against the soccer goal by the school stadium, sunbathing, with the caption, The sun is beautiful today. Seeing this, I hesitated for a few seconds, then clicked on Serena's avatar and sent a message. I think the dress she's wearing this morning looks good. I want to take her to lunch. If it's convenient, you could come along too. Ever since that mid-autumn night, Serena had been avoiding me for the past 2 days, said she still needed to think about it for 2 more days before giving me her answer. She refused all other chat invitations. A few seconds later, Serena replied to the message. She's not free. Already gone shopping with her beautiful, ethereal, fairy-like owner. I smiled and still went shopping with her. Not until after 9 in the evening did Serena and I, and everyone else, return to campus. Because Mia and the others were with us, Serena didn't let me walk her back to the dorm, but went back with Mia and the others instead. I went back to my own dorm. But the moment I opened the dorm door, Tyler and the others immediately dropped whatever they were doing, sitting in a row with chairs already arranged. Boss, start a class. We'll even pay. Let us learn from you. I was stunned. What are you guys doing? Listening to your lecture, obviously. Marcus looked at me with worship. School just started not long ago, and you've already won over. The hardest to get campus beauty. We've been good brothers for so many years. Aren't you going to pass on your secrets to us? Leo and Tyler also nodded repeatedly. That's right. Third bro has skills. Don't keep them to yourself. Us three bros are still single. Aren't you going to teach us a few tricks? This is actually very simple. I smiled. I was wondering why you suddenly wanted a class. Turns out, it's for this. Then I looked at the three of them. Actually, there's no real technique. It's mainly thanks to my face. Tell us the truth. She threw herself at me. All three immediately glared in unison. Get out. Shameless. My God, third bro, your skin is so thick. Late at night, after showering, I sat down at my desk, picked up my phone, and saw a message Serena had sent. A few minutes ago. What are you doing? I smiled and quickly replied, just finished showering. Getting ready to study some materials. Serena on the other end replied immediately. I see. Then go ahead and get busy. I won't bother you anymore. Good luck. After sending this message, she added a cheering sticker. Seeing this, I immediately smiled, holding my phone and replying, it's fine, I can reply to you. After sending the message, I turned on the computer at my desk, logged into Instagram, then clicked on the Genesis icon on the desktop screen. Since Genesis's code data had been uploaded to the internet, it didn't need any server as a carrier, but existed permanently on the internet. Simply put, all computers in the entire world could combine to serve as its server, significantly enhancing its computing power. Right now on my computer was just an access portal to Genesis. Meanwhile, in the girls' dorm, Serena saw the message I sent back, and the corner of her mouth immediately curved up slightly. No need. I'll just read my book. After replying to one message, she set her phone aside. She wouldn't use love as a rope to tie him down. Here, he could do anything he wanted. She only hoped that before doing anything, he would think of her. That was enough, because she knew. The boy she loved would definitely become a brilliant, radiant son in the future. Fortunately, she was his favoritism. Taking it slow was sincerity, so they would just take it slow. One day, they would sit on the same sofa, read the same book, watch the same movie. On my side, seeing the message Serena sent, the corner of my mouth also broke into a slight smile. No need to be inseparable every day, always staying in touch. I know you won't leave. You know I won't change. Each person busy with their own things, yet still missing each other. Isn't this the most ideal state of love? A moment later, I sent Serena a message. I miss you. She replied almost immediately. You're done that fast? Busy looking up materials but can reply to messages right away. Not done yet, I replied calmly. But I suddenly missed you. How much do you miss me? Serena smiled in the dorm. I held my phone looking at the chat screen, hesitating for a moment. A minute later, Serena sent another message. Where'd you go? Why'd you suddenly disappear? I quickly replied, I'm here. Then I smiled and sent a block of text. Just now I kept thinking how to answer your question, but maybe because my literature skills aren't good enough. I really couldn't think of a better adjective. Sorry, but just now I really did. Think about you for exactly 1 minute. A moment later, time passed on the phone. It was now 1 minute and 1 second. How can this person be like this? Serena sat in the dorm, barely able to handle it. He suddenly got so smooth like this? His flirting game is too good. Can't handle it. Can't handle it. Mia and the others all curiously shifted their gazes. From the gossip on Twitter to the gossip that was Serena. What happened? What happened? What big news? Nothing, nothing. Serena smiled and shook her head. Mia and the others all glared in unison. The corners of your mouth are about to reach the sky. You think we believe you? After chatting with me for a few exchanges, looking at the time on her phone, it was almost 11. Serena immediately smiled and sent a message. When can I sleep you? I immediately froze. Sleep me? What does that mean? They'd just started dating. And she was already bringing up this exciting topic? Hold it in. Can't laugh, can't laugh. Taking a deep breath, I quickly replied, "Are you sure? Once you sleep with me, you have to take responsibility. I might not charge money, but you have to take responsibility for life." Serena was a bit confused, quickly sending several question mark memes. Then, quickly sending another message. "Callahan, what do you mean? I'm asking when you can go to sleep, understand? I'm about to go to bed. I'm not saying sleep with you, understand?" After sending, Serena couldn't help but laugh. They'd only been dating for how long, and he already couldn't hide his foxtail. Then, she laughed and sent another message. "Busted. You're exposed. Confess now. Do you only love me for my body?" "You scoundrel." I smiled. "Honestly speaking, if I loved you but didn't desire your body, should we just become sworn siblings instead?" Serena saw this message and directly froze, her cheeks flushing red. Actually, what he said did seem to make sense, but then she quickly shook her head. "Serena Harper, what are you thinking? Your thoughts are way too impure." Then she replied, "So should I come out tonight?" My heart pounded. "For real?" "In your dreams." Serena sat in her chair, giggling, quickly replying, "We'll talk about that later. When you've served this empress well enough, I shall reward you." Your servant obeys. The next day, I went with Serena to have breakfast at the cafeteria. Just as I looked up, I saw Serena's eyes across from me, staring intently at me. Seeing my attentive gaze, Serena picked up a dumpling from the plate in front of her, smiling as she brought it to my face. "Open up. A dumpling as your reward." I naturally didn't refuse. Eating the dumpling, Serena offered in one bite, but the next second, I felt a slight chill on my back. Early morning. There were quite a few students eating breakfast in the cafeteria, and Serena particularly attracted attention. Seeing this scene, countless male students, all resentfully, looked toward me sitting across from Serena, beast, getting fed dumplings by Goddess Harper herself. Does this guy not have hands? He needs a girl to feed him? I'm different, though. I have hands. If you really can't help it, go get a room. Why come to the cafeteria to spread dog food? Let's beat this show off to death. Meanwhile, in a corner of the cafeteria, Nathan Song and another male student sat at a dining table, watching me and Serena being affectionate, his eyes immediately filled with pain. Seeing this, the male student sitting across from him immediately spoke up to comfort him. "Nathan, it's okay. That kid dating Serena? I've already investigated him thoroughly. He's just a freshman in the business school. You're the future student council president. I'm the head of dorm management. We can't even deal with one little freshman?" Nathan's Song directly shot the male student a cold glare, then sighed. "Forget it. Don't do anything reckless. I'll wait for her. As long as she's not married, I'll keep waiting for her." The male student looked uncomfortable. "For a woman? Is it really necessary?" "Actually, sometimes you could also look at the person beside you." The person beside me. Nathan's Song was stunned. "Who are you talking about?" The male student took a deep breath. "Nathan! Before, I wasn't really anything. I always liked girls. Until I met you in college. You're so outstanding. I really admire you. Gradually, I started caring about you. Now, in my eyes, I don't see anyone more important than you. For you, I could even die." After saying this, the male student looked at Nathan's Song expectantly. "What I said. Can you understand?" The corner of Nathan Song's mouth twitched. "That? I roughly understand all of it. Just roughly, not completely. But I'm straight." So then, the male student was somewhat unwilling. "Can we still be friends after this?" "We'll talk about that later." Nathan Song tried hard to keep his face from twitching. "But from now on, even if you beat me to death, I'm never going to the public bathhouse with you again." On my side, the dumplings were almost finished, and Serena immediately smiled and looked up to ask, "Do you have any plans this afternoon?" "Is something going on?" I asked. "Nothing major." Serena smiled. "But I don't have class this afternoon, and I heard there's a good movie that just came out recently. So I wanted to ask you to go see a movie." But then Serena added, If you're busy with something, you don't have to come with me." "I see." I thought for a few seconds. "How many people?" Just two, obviously. I nodded slightly. If it's just two people, I can head out at noon. That way we can also grab hot pot together. No problem. After finishing breakfast, Serena went to class. I brought the breakfast items I bought from the cafeteria back to the dorm, pushing open the door. Tyler and the others were also up, gathered at the sink on the balcony brushing their teeth. I immediately smiled. Kids, Daddy's home. Marcus quickly finished brushing his teeth, directly responding, My good Daddy, you're finally back. I shook the breakfast in my hand, and Marcus immediately rushed up to me. Daddy, I love you the most. This is probably why. Male dorms are usually more harmonious than female dorms. One important reason. How could father and son hold grudges overnight? Since they also didn't have class this morning, after finishing breakfast, Tyler started calling out to friends, Hurry up! Bros, let's game. My Yasuo is insane. Marcus and Leo glared at him. Your Yasuo? Not to talk shit, but last night when we were pushing high ground, if you hadn't messed up, wouldn't we have won already? Leo nodded in agreement. Exactly. Last game last night was all my contribution. My shot calling was that good, and we still lost. First, bro, you're definitely account sharing. After saying that, Leo asked me, Third, bro, how about it? You want to play a few games with us? You guys go ahead. I smiled faintly. I don't really know how to play this game. Better not drag you guys down. I then directly stood up and left the dorm. Waiting at the entrance of the male dorm for a few minutes, Serena had changed into another pretty dress, skipping over to me, smiling brightly as she looked up. All done. Let's go out for lunch. I nodded slightly. Then directly at the school gate, hailed a taxi, heading straight to downtown D.C. Serena bought tickets in advance, and I took her into a hot pot restaurant to sit down. Serena called the waiter over to order. She casually ordered some beef rolls and other hot pot ingredients. After the server left, Serena immediately tilted her head, watching the waitress as she left. Quite impressed. That girl's lipstick looks so pretty. Isn't it all just red? I was a bit curious. Actually, I still don't understand why you girls can recognize so many color codes, like orange red, period red, tomato red. My God, don't they all look the same to me? Well, I also don't know why you guys can recognize so many Ultramen. Serena laughed. How about I quiz you? Guess what color lipstick I'm wearing today? Can't guess. I directly gave up. Serena giggled. That girl and I are wearing the same lipstick color, both Dior 999. Let me tell you, this color code is super popular right now. When it came to cosmetics, she could talk all day. The corner of my mouth twitched. You can tell that too? Serena nodded proudly. If you don't believe me, when she comes back with the food, we'll ask and find out. Very quickly the waitress brought over several plates of beef rolls. After setting down the ingredients and about to leave, Serena called out to stop her, asking, Excuse me, is your lipstick Dior 999? That's right, it's Dior 999. The waitress nodded. Serena immediately looked at me proudly and smiled. See, I told you, and you didn't believe me. I looked up at that girl, then looked at Serena in front of me, puzzled. But that's not right. Her color is darker. The lipstick on your lips seems lighter. Hearing this, Serena directly retorted, me with a glare. Then whose fault is it that it faded? Earlier in the taxi, someone just couldn't behave. Well, I hesitated for a few seconds, immediately nodding with a doting smile. My fault, my fault. The waitress. You two? I'm just bringing food. You really don't have to do this. After the server left, Serena immediately couldn't help but laugh. Ha ha, Callahan, you're so bad. What's wrong? I felt a bit confused. That girl's look just now almost swallowed us both whole. Could it be she doesn't have a boyfriend? I asked in return. Serena shot me a look. Hopeless. This man is hopeless. After the two finished their hot pot, Serena led me to the nearby movie theater. As soon as we stepped into the theater, my expression became somewhat nostalgic. This was my first time at a movie theater since leaving 3 years ago. Moreover, Serena was standing beside me. What? It's been a long time since you've been here, right? Serena smiled and tilted her head to look at me. Yeah, I was quite emotional. I remember the last time I came was back in high school, right? It's been a long time. Back then, they were still on summer break between sophomore and junior year, together with some close high school friends, going to watch movies during summer vacation. It was also that summer that I joined the Science Institute, beginning my 3-year research journey at Northern Base. Thinking back now, if I had known that time that year would be the last time in 3 years I'd get to watch a movie with Serena, then I should have dressed more handsomely that day. Then let's just relive it a little. Serena smiled, taking my hand, quickly walking toward the ticket pickup area. The luckiest thing was probably that 3 years ago, she had once sat in the same class with me, shoulder to shoulder, dreaming about what the future after the college entrance exam would be like, and now she and I were still shoulder to shoulder, walking together toward our future, walking toward the future that belonged to us, even though between them a full 3 years had passed. But in the future, they would still have another 3 years, 13 years, even 30 years, and in the time to come, we would hold hands, together heading toward the future that belonged to us. Since they arrived at the theater quite early, sitting on a small sofa in the waiting area, Serena curled up in my arms, smiling as she looked up and asked, "Callahan, did you already like me 3 years ago?" "I suppose so." I smiled. Serena pouted. "What do you mean, suppose so? You're being too vague." I slowly shook my head. "Because back then, it was actually love at first sight." Serena continued to ask, "Then why didn't you tell me back then? What if we couldn't even be friends after?" "You definitely would have agreed." Serena smiled, then wrinkled her cute little nose again, glaring at me. "But love at first sight is usually just lust." Point. "So, admit it, when you first met me, you already had intentions toward me, right? What kind of logic is that?" I stroked Serena's soft, silky hair, smiling after hearing this. "Love at first sight, in my opinion, is the soul recognizing the other person. So it's souls attracting each other. Minds on the same frequency. In physics terms, that's quantum entanglement." "What's quantum entanglement?" Serena was a bit curious, but she didn't ask further, just hugged me tightly with both arms, secretly smiling. "You talk so well. Why don't you go write a book?" I seriously thought for a few seconds, if I have time in the future. Writing a book isn't entirely out of the question. Serena froze. "I was just joking, and you're being serious again. You really want to write a book?" But then she couldn't help but smile. "So I was once a secret in your heart, too." I slightly lowered my head. "What are you laughing at?" Just felt like laughing. Serena made a funny face at him, then became a bit curious again. "So why do you like me?" Serena continued to speak calmly. "My temper isn't good, and I'm moody, possessive. Plus, I often say the opposite of what I mean. Let me tell you, I'm really super jealous. But later when I get jealous, I'll probably be too embarrassed to bother you about it. I'll just sulk by myself until I'm furious. But I'm really petty. What's mine, no one else is allowed to like. Although he really did look very handsome, but she wasn't bad either. Plus in the future, he would become even more outstanding, and might even meet someone better than her. When that time came, what would the two of them do?" Thinking of this, the long lashes on Serena's eyes trembled slightly. "Even knowing all this about me, do you still like me?" He was really too outstanding. All her own bright spots became dim in front of him. "Of course," I answered without hesitation. "Reason?" Serena continued to ask. "What the heart decides, the mouth cannot answer." I looked gently at Serena. "Of course, if you want to hear reasons, there can be reasons. For example, you're smart. You're pure, kind, cute. But I just thought through all the words of praise. These simple words. Can't fully summarize the reason. I'm with you. But I also know the main reason. Roughly that you completely match my preferences. So you can also understand it as my selfishness. Because of my own desires, I want to keep you by my side. Therefore, you don't need to feel my love is a burden to you, or even feel grateful for it. The person I like is you, and only you. So in front of me, if you don't want to grow up, then don't grow up. If you don't want to take initiative, you don't have to. Being nervous, being shy is all fine. Saying the opposite of what you mean isn't a problem either. Anyway, I'm responsible for understanding you. Serena's heart immediately started pounding erratically. Oh my God. What is this man saying? This is seriously cheesy enough to kill, okay? If she hadn't gone to the same high school as him, knowing this guy was in his first relationship, she would have almost thought he was some battle-hardened playboy. What girl could handle this? Taking a deep breath, she smiled brightly at me, asking, "So how long will you like me?" I slightly raised my head, thought for a few seconds, then answered, "If you're willing to keep listening to me say this nonsense, then I'll keep liking you forever." After saying that, I lowered my head and asked back, "What about you? How long will you like me?" "Me?" Serena curled up in my arms, shaking her cute little head, blinking her eyes, then looked up and said, "This answer is very long. Simply put, ask me how long you can live." After saying that, Serena snuggled deeper into my arms. "Mr. Reed, do you know, time spent with you is never enough, no matter how long." I couldn't help but smile. "Then I'll probably live for a very, very long time. Then just slowly wait." Serena smiled mischievously. "Let me tell you, from now on, you're not allowed to be too nice to other girls. I'll get jealous. I'll stomp my feet, and I'll even throw myself on the ground demanding you hold me. See what you'll do then." I smiled dotingly. "I can promise you that, but you also have to promise me something." "What?" I held Serena tight against my chest. "In the future, when you're angry, jealous, don't push me away, and especially don't say nothing when I ask what's wrong. You're not allowed to hide everything inside, secretly sulking by yourself, and definitely not secretly deducting points from me in your heart. Your heart only needs to hold me, and that's enough. No other. Sad things are allowed in there." "Is that all?" Serena raised her little head. "If it's just that, I promise you." Serena immediately smiled, directly throwing herself at me, chest pressed tight against my chest, pressing her ear close to listen, to see if she could hear my heartbeat. Well, I immediately froze, smelling the faint maiden's fragrance on Serena, along with the softness against my chest. The blood in my body immediately started rushing involuntarily. Even my body became somewhat stiff. Isn't this sudden move a bit too stimulating? After all, I was just a young man, not yet 20. How could I handle this? For a moment, I didn't even know where to put my hands. At this moment, Serena was by my ear, gently breathing out warm air. Is my soundproofing too good? Otherwise, you'd definitely hear my heart pounding. I gently stroked Serena's long, soft, silky hair. "Dear Miss Harper, I forgot to tell you just now. Thank you, Heaven, for letting me meet you. I hope the person by your side forever will be me." The two of us, just like that, curled up together on the movie theater sofa, resting for a while. Only when it was almost time did Serena reluctantly raise her head from my arms. I looked at her and smiled. "All right, it's almost time. Let's go get our tickets checked and go in." I nodded slightly, gently taking Serena's hand, getting the electronic tickets from the self-service machine. At the movie theater, Serena pointed at the snack counter nearby, smiling. "Callahan, I want to bring popcorn. Let's go." "Let me tell you, I heard from Mia and them that the movie we're watching is really good. The online ratings are very high." I lowered my head to look at the ticket in my hand. It was a romance film. From my impression, domestic romance films seemed just okay, but seeing Serena's excited expression, I didn't say anything more, just quickly smiled. "Okay, I'll take you to buy popcorn." Arriving at the popcorn counter, I tilted my head to look at Serena. "Is it okay to have cold drinks today?" Serena was a bit confused. "Sure. Why?" I smiled and nodded. "Nothing. Just asking." With that, I looked up at the popcorn staff, smiling. "We'll have 2 iced Cokes and 1 large bucket of popcorn." That'll be $54 total. The server nodded slightly, then started preparing our popcorn. I suddenly smiled, looking at Serena beside me. If I don't have enough money, can I leave her here to work off the debt? Hearing this, the server, who was scooping popcorn, immediately couldn't help but laugh. Serena directly glared at me, expertly reaching out to pinch my waist, twisting a full 180 degrees. Say that again? I directly drew in a cold breath, then smiled at the staff. Haha, I was just kidding. Please continue. Please continue. The server was a bit speechless. Why don't these two just go get a room? Why come here to spread dog food? After getting the popcorn and iced cokes, the two of us slowly walked into the screening room, perhaps because the ratings really weren't bad. Even before the lights went down, quite a lot of people were already seated. I led Serena to the couple's love seat in the last row. Very quickly the movie started. Along with the familiar dragon logo appearing, the film quickly got into the main content. It could be considered a standard youth romance film, telling the story of innocent love in high school and the excitement of college years. Just as it started, Serena was already watching intently. At this moment, I had just put my hand into the popcorn bucket, and Serena's hand the next second also reached into the popcorn bucket. By accident, our hands touched. Then Serena smiled mischievously, snatching the piece of popcorn from my hand. I immediately turned my head. You're even stealing what's in my hand? Serena immediately made a face at me. Nye, popcorn in someone else's hand tastes better. Are you sure? I smiled mischievously. What do you want to do? Serena stubbornly looked at me. Let me tell you, I'm not afraid of you. I smiled even more wickedly. Really not afraid? Not afraid. Serena still talked tough. Then just you wait. I set down the popcorn bucket in my hand, slowly starting to press toward Serena. Since it was a couple's love seat, there was no divider between the two seats. Seeing me suddenly pressing close, Serena was so scared she covered her mouth, her whole body curling up in the seat. You don't do anything inappropriate. I smiled cunningly. You don't really think movie theaters are actually for watching movies, do you? Don't do anything inappropriate. There are security cameras anyway. I directly moved forward, pushing Serena's hand aside, quickly leaning down to kiss her. It's fine. Usually no one watches them. A long while later, Serena finally pushed me away, her face red from the deep kiss. Then she stammered and glared at me. Where did you just have your hand? If the theater hadn't been so dark, you would have seen. Her face was so red it was about to bleed. I coughed awkwardly. Ha! My hand has to go somewhere, right? You scoundrel, Serena scolded me. Then continued to glare at me, slowly asking, You bad guy. And you said you weren't just after my body. Plus earlier you asked me if I could have cold drinks. Tell me, did you have ulterior motives today? I've always had ulterior motives toward you. I didn't hide it at all. Calmly smiling, I never said. I had no desires toward you. From your hair to your fingertips, I want to possess it all. Love isn't a shrine. It's 10 miles of Yangzhou, with lights burning endlessly. Can't be bothered with you. Watch the movie. Serena directly shot me a look, but the next second, her small, soft white hand still wound around my fingertips like a little snake. Nothing else happened. During the rest of the movie, it was just at the end, the director delivered a dramatic kill, pushing emotions to the max, making Serena's tears flow freely. Seeing this, I hurriedly pulled out the tissues left over from lunch that I brought along. Looking at Serena helplessly, I smiled. Come here. Look at you crying like this. Let me wipe your tears. How can you still laugh? Serena's tears were streaming. It's really so moving. After saying that, Serena looked at me again. You said so many sweet words earlier. Where are your honeyed words now? Where did they run off to? I'm crying now. Not only won't you comfort me, but you're sitting there taking pleasure in my pain. This is too much. I froze. I have to comfort you for this too? After hesitating for a few seconds, I asked somewhat uncertainly, Sweetheart, come here, let me lick your tears dry. Serena's tears immediately stopped, looking at me as if she'd seen a ghost. What did you just say? Sweetheart, come here. Let me lick your tears dry. Pfft. Serena immediately covered her mouth, but still couldn't help but laugh out loud, then quickly leaned close to me. Has anyone ever told you that sometimes you're really funny? Ha ha, sweetheart. What on earth was I thinking to say? That? She really couldn't hold it in. Ha ha. The dramatic ending finished, and the movie also ended. The white lights in the screening room turned on. Countless people stood up from their seats, quickly leaving the theater. I also held Serena's hand, my other hand, gently rubbing her little head. All right, the movie's over. What do you want to eat? I'll take you somewhere good. Why suddenly buying food? Serena looked up curiously. I continued to smile. Consider it a reward for crying a bit and then stopping. Am I a 3-year-old to you? Is that not okay? Serena thought for a few seconds. Then I want candied hawthorns, and I want 2 sticks. As long as you want to eat them, I'll buy you 20 sticks. Leaving the movie theater, the two walked out onto the street, looking around. Very quickly across the street, they found a street vendor carrying candied hawthorns, selling everywhere, but the road was busy with traffic. Seeing this, I immediately rubbed Serena's hair. You wait here like a good girl. I'll go buy you candied hawthorns. Okay. Serena obediently nodded. I quickly crossed the street, walked up to the vendor, and immediately smiled.
Sir,
could you please pick out 2 sticks of the biggest and best candied hawthorns here for me? The vendor immediately smiled. Young man, let me tell you, my candied hawthorns here, every single one is both big and delicious. Wait a moment. I'll pick out the 2 biggest ones for you. With that, I started carefully selecting. While picking, I looked across the street again, at Serena waiting obediently. The vendor looked at me and smiled. Buying candied hawthorns to coax your girlfriend? Yes, I nodded slightly. Girls, the more you coax them, the cuter they get. After the vendor got 2 sticks of candied hawthorns, he wrapped them up and handed them to me. Thank you, sir. I paid, thanked him, and took the candied hawthorns across the street, quickly returning to Serena. What were you and the vendor whispering about just now? Serena asked curiously with a smile. I said my little greedy cat at home wants to eat candied hawthorns. You're the greedy cat. Serena directly shot me a look, then smiled. All right. So should we head back to campus now? I smiled. We came out at noon to watch one movie and then go back. What else? Serena asked back. Let's walk around a bit more. That works too. Just like that, they walked around until 11 at night, eating through nearly half of DC's various snacks. Serena stood by the roadside, looking at me and asking, Can we go back now? I looked at the time on my phone, hesitated for a few seconds, before saying somewhat reluctantly, Fine then. It's getting late. I'll hail a taxi then. Serena smiled and started waving. To hail a taxi on the roadside. I keep feeling like something's missing. Just going back like this? Serena froze, her face immediately flushing pink. It's so late. If we're not going back, what else do you want to do? I have class tomorrow morning. Oh, I froze, then explained. I meant, do we need to buy more food for your roommates? Serena shook her head. Let's not buy any more. If we go buy more, we won't make it back to the dorm tonight. Just as they finished talking, the taxi arrived. And coincidentally, it was actually the same taxi driver from when they left. Oh, it's you two again? What a coincidence. The driver looked at me and Serena and smiled. Heading back to school? Yes. Serena nodded slightly. Get in. Serena and I immediately got into the taxi. Serena directly said, Driver, our curfew is at 12. Could you please drive a bit faster? I quickly refused. Safety first. Going a bit slower is fine. What are you trying to do? Serena directly blushed and shot him a look. The driver laughed. Ha ha ha. Don't worry. I used to drive in the army back in the day. My driving skills are solid. After laughing, he nodded again. But what the young man said is also right. Safety first. With that, he directly stepped hard on the taxi's gas pedal. When I walked Serena to the entrance of the girls' dorm, because it was already very late. There were only a few scattered couples around, leisurely walking in the night. I was silently calculating something in my mind, seeing that I was clearly a bit distracted beside her. Serena immediately asked curiously, "What's wrong? You look unhappy?" At this moment, I suddenly looked up. He was speeding. That driver was definitely speeding. It should have taken 40 minutes, but he pushed it and got us to the school gate. In 20 minutes. Definitely speeding. Serena first froze, then couldn't help but laugh. Don't tell me that. From the school gate all the way to the dorm. You were calculating that the whole time? I asked back. What else? Come with me. Serena immediately smiled, taking my hand, quickly running to a dark corner beside the dorm. What are you doing? Trying to take advantage of me? I looked at the pitch-dark surroundings. The corner of my mouth couldn't help but smile. What if I am? I looked around, directly spreading my arms out. If you're going to take advantage, hurry up. Serena quickly pressed close to me, stood on tiptoe, and kissed my forehead hard, then rubbed my cheek. Don't be sad anymore. I smiled and pointed at my lips. I want one here too. No. Serena firmly shook her head. The doctor said goodnight. Kisses can only be on the forehead. Otherwise, kids can easily get cavities. I smiled and rubbed her head. After a moment of silence, Serena slowly looked up at me and said seriously, Callahan, will you always be with me until we're old? I answered without thinking, Of course. We'll definitely love each other until we're 80. What? At 81 we start fighting? I immediately shook my head and smiled. Suddenly really want to see 60 years from now. See if I'm still by your side. Go see the answer. See how many kids we have then. Whether we do square dancing together. When our grandchildren ask me how I wooed you back then, I'll definitely tell them. No. It was your grandma who pursued me first. She was even cuter than you when she was young. My tone changed again. If, at that time, the little ones won't brush their teeth, I'll tell them. If you don't brush your teeth, you'll be like your grandma, and become a toothless old granny. You. Serena shot me a look. You're the toothless old granny. You're the old grandpa with no teeth left. I lowered my head to look at the beautiful face before me. In that moment, I truly heard the sound of heartbeats. I ever so gently lifted her fair face, softly pinching her cute little nose. All right, stop making a fuss. I'll fuss if I want to. Serena still wouldn't give in. I smiled. Stop being stubborn, no matter how stubborn your mouth is. When we kiss, it's still soft. How soft? The moment she finished speaking, I lowered my head to kiss her. A long while later, kissing until she was breathless, I finally raised my head slightly, looking again with full tenderness at Serena with a satisfied smile on her face. The corners of my mouth gradually curved up. Perhaps because I met someone lovely, I suddenly felt life wasn't so hard anymore. Whether it was the night breeze or a cool wind, just thinking of her, I couldn't help but smile. The most wonderful thing in the world is seeing the smile of the person before you. And what's even more wonderful is perhaps that her smile is because of you, my lovely Miss Harper. I will be faithful to my feelings for you, as I am faithful to my country. The end.